Live broadcast of Naruto begins with a movie The Death of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426. Do these people think too highly of me? Jiraiya looked at the sky with a smile on his face. He admitted that he did have a dream of peace in the ninja world, but this dream must include Konoha. If Konoha must be sacrificed for the sake of peace in the ninja world, then even Jiraiya would never accept it. Even peace that requires sacrificing any ninja village is something Jiraiya does not want to see. This approach was never within Jiraiya's consideration from the beginning to the end, because that kind of peace is not true peace. Once you get hurt, you will feel hatred. If you hurt others, they will hate you and you will feel guilty. But it is because you know the pain that you know how to treat others gently. This is what human beings are like. Jiraiya taught him earnestly. The young Nagato didn't understand these principles very well, so Jiraiya gave a more straightforward answer. It means you have grown up. Growth, what does it mean? It means you can judge right and wrong for yourself. Jiraiya's teaching triggered Nagato's thinking and made him say what was in his heart. Yohiko helped Konan and me when we were hungry and crying, and even stole other people's food. I just wanted to protect them both, no matter how much pain I felt. Obviously Jiraiya's teaching is quite normal, but in connection with Nagato's behavior later, it feels like the meaning has become that as long as we hurt each other, after understanding this pain, we can understand each other. Such a correct guidance can be misinterpreted. This incident teaches us that it is better to make things clearer in the future. In fact, after saying so much, it is because of Yohiko's death that Nagato's temperament changed drastically. After all, Nagato has made it clear that he just wants to protect the two of them, but what if one of the protected objects dies? Everyone's temperament will change drastically. If this important person was killed by someone, it goes without saying. Just refer to Sasuke who is blackened by revenge. If he was really killed by someone, then there is no need to think too much about who the perpetrator is. With the character of Hanzo, how could he let an uncontrolled force appear under his nose? This speculation hit the scars of Nagato and Konan, and they both sank their faces at the same time. Thinking about it now, it seems that their behavior became so extreme from that time. Nagato's words inspired Jiraiya, and the solid ninja legend was soon completed by Jiraiya. At the same time, Yohiko and the other two's ninjutsu training was getting better and better, and then on this day they worked together to defeat Jiraiya's shadow clone. You can already defeat my shadow clone. Jiraiya smiled slightly, then I can go back to the village with peace of mind. Looking at the stunned expressions of the three people, Jiraiya narrowed his eyes and grinned. The next step is to rely on you. You have worked really hard in the past 3 years. Okay, don't cry, Yohiko, you will be regarded as a coward. Konan, you should become a beauty. Let's meet again when you grow up. Jiraiya turned around and took a step without hesitation, and at the same time gave the final education to the disciples behind him. This country is still very poor, and there may be many sad things in the future. However, in the future, you will rely on your own strength to change this country. Nagato, you have grown up, right? The three did not speak to keep him, and watched Jiraiya leave with firm eyes, and thanked him softly for his efforts. I actually stayed in the Hidden Rain village for 3 whole years, and Konoha didn't care. At that time, the war had just ended, and there was indeed no major event that Jiraiya had to deal with personally, and there were conditions for him to stay in the Hidden Rain village. 3 years. I remember that the Third World War started a few years after the Second World War. It seems that Jiraiya went directly to the battlefield after he returned. That's right. The 3 ninjas did become famous in the Third World War, and the other one was the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze. Alice, after this separation, we will be enemies when we meet again. No wonder Jiraiya said he felt disappointed. Not long after Jiraiya returned to the village, in just a few years, peace was exhausted again, and the Third Ninja World War broke out. Jiraiya had no choice but to end his journey that had not yet begun, and once again plunged into the war. It was also in this war that the legendary name of the 3 ninjas of Konoha was established. How long will this war last, and how can it end? Looking at the devastated battlefield, Tsunade asked in distress, and Orochimaru beside her laughed contemptuously. This is impossible. Who said that hatred can only breed hatred? Although I don't know how to do it, I can finally grasp peace. As long as someone believes, hope will exist. Jiraiya gave his answer with a gloomy face, and Orochimaru was too lazy to refute. Hey! During the Third World War, all 5 major countries participated. Konoha seemed to be attacked by the other 4 major countries at the same time. How could the 3 ninjas appear on the same battlefield? I clearly remember that they led the war in different battlefields. This was in the early stage of the war. At that time, some countries did not participate in the war, and Konoha's manpower was not yet stretched to the point of being stretched, so the 3 ninjas appeared on the same battlefield. Jiraiya's answers have always been so ambiguous. First, assume that peace must exist, and then as long as you don't give up, one day you will be able to fight. It will definitely come true. It feels super shameless. Although Nagato's plan is ridiculous, at least he has come up with a specific action plan. No wonder Jiraiya can't convince him, because he can only stay at verbal level here. I don't know what answer Naruto will give later. I want to see how he convinces Nagato. Since Jiraiya has entrusted the future, Naruto needs to shoulder this responsibility. However, so many talented people in the past couldn't come up with the answer. Is it really okay to rely on Naruto? Naruto scratched his head in distress. It is natural to take over Jiraiya's mantle, but can he really answer this kind of question? Don't talk about others, even Naruto himself doesn't have much confidence. Chapter 427. At this time, a frog jumped out of the bushes and handed a scroll to Jiraiya. After reading the contents of the scroll, Jiraiya couldn't help but tremble. When asked by Tsunade, he answered sadly, "Those children died. I thought it was the right choice, so I worked hard for it. I thought that was my destiny. I'm just afraid I made a mistake. You will definitely find it, as long as you have firm faith." Tsunade raised her hand and put it on Jiraiya's back to comfort him. Jiraiya could only force himself to cheer himself up. Yes, I still have a long way to go. Under the leadership of Jiraiya's other disciple Minato Namikaze, Konoha won the Third Ninja World War, and the names of those who sacrificed for this war are now engraved on the memorial. I'm a little curious, has Jiraiya ever considered the 4th Hokage the son of prophecy? He only mentions the 4th Hokage when it comes to Naruto, so I guess he doesn't have that idea. The 4th Hokage is indeed very strong, but there is still a gap compared to the Samsara eye shown by Nagato. No wonder Jiraiya didn't give him the title of the son of prophecy. Naruto is the same, making all kinds of embarrassments, so Jiraiya didn't connect him with the son of prophecy until he was about to die. In front of the memorial, Tsunade once again asked Jiraiya about his future plans, and Jiraiya's answer remained the same, continuing his journey to find the disciple who could bring peace. You are really looking for trouble. Orochimaru was not interested in this, waved his hand and turned away. Jiraiya couldn't help but ask, "What about you? Don't you want someone to inherit your ninjutsu?" Stopped, Orochimaru gave his answer without thinking, "Learn all the techniques in this world, this is my only wish. No matter how much you study ninjutsu, human life will not be eternal." Tsunade and Jiraiya made the same rebuttal, to which Orochimaru replied meaningfully, "This is difficult," said it. Inheriting Orochimaru's ninjutsu, Sasuke and Kabuto not only inherited it, but also divided his body and soul. Isn't this inheritance thorough enough? For Orochimaru, who pursues immortality, the word inheritance has nothing to do with him. The pursuit of immortality is not the goal, the real goal is to learn all the techniques. These 2 points must be distinguished. In a home environment, Minato read Jiraiya's Tenkaichi ninjutsu with relish, and the whole person completely replaced the protagonist of the book. The development of the story is basically the same as Jiraiya's past encounter with a man of the Fuma clan, but in response to the question raised by the other party at that time, there is no peace in the cursed ninja world, Jiraiya gave his own answer through the protagonist of the book. Then, I will break this curse. If there is still peace in this world, I will definitely seize it. I will never give up. When he was reading the exciting part, Jiraiya suddenly slapped Minato on the back of his head and interrupted his reading. He said with pride and embarrassment that this debut work still had many shortcomings, but Minato thought it was very satisfying. Then, in the subsequent conversation, he proposed to Jiraiya that he wanted to name his child after the protagonist. Jiraiya's fate was thus linked to the true child of prophecy. Sure enough, this is Jiraiya's answer to peace: never give up. Jiraiya's idea is completely based on the premise that peace really exists. The question is, does peace really exist? It's not the kind of peace between one village and one country, but the peace that all countries in the entire ninja world understand each other. I feel that this is a false proposition. Jiraiya, who has been fighting for this goal all his life, is just wasting his time. If everyone thinks this way, there is really no hope for peace. Maybe we can't understand their actions, but there is no need to belittle their behavior. In the Pure Land, Uchiha Madara glanced at the sky with an expressionless face. Mutual understanding between people? This idea was abandoned after he broke up with Hashirama in his youth, but in the ninja world, there are always people who are drowned by such ideals. HMPH, the future leader of the ninja world, sounds like a pretty impressive title, but if his level of thought is only this level, then the child of prophecy chosen by him is not worthy of my attention. Uzumaki Naruto, if your view on peace is the same as Hashirama's, then you are not worthy of shouldering the responsibility of peace in the ninja world. Because I've long been tired of Hashirama's tricks, and the development of the ninja world now proves that they don't work. So, what answer can you give? What words do you want to use to convince Nagato? Uchiha Madara was both disdainful and expectant. Of course, no matter what answer Naruto gave, he firmly believed that his plan was the most perfect. For the peace of the ninja world, everything else must give way to him. For this, even if it means defeating the entire world, Uchiha Madara will not hesitate. The picture of the sky was frozen in the distant view of Konoha village and gradually darkened, and then not long after it lit up again. On the rooftop of the Hokage building, Tsunade, under the protection of 4 Anbu, treated the wounded in the village through the remote connection of the slug. At this moment, a figure wearing an Akatsuki robe appeared here without any hindrance. The 4 Anbu quickly took precautions and recognized the person in front of them through the ornaments on their faces as Tendo, who had fought with Kakashi before. Tendo ignored the 4 Anbu and greeted Tsunade coldly, "Long time no see. Tsunade-sama, you are the only one left of the former 3 ninjas. I have a few words to tell you." Okay. It's the follow-up of Pine's invasion of Konoha. Tsunade not only has to take command, but also has to be responsible for the treatment of the entire village. Is this the strength of the first medical master in the ninja world? Tisk, that's great. There's such a great medical ninja in the village. As long as they don't die on the spot, they should be able to be saved. There are pros and cons. The medical treatment provided has indeed become stronger, but there's no denying that Tsunade's frontal combat ability is slightly weaker than other cages, and it's impossible for her to deal with Pine with physical skills alone. Chapter 428. So Pain is here to kill Tsunade, and the 3 ninjas are going to leave one after another. They have already fought to the center of the village. They don't look like they are here to chat. Jiraiya frowned and looked at the sky. He put himself in the situation on the sky. If Pain really wanted to kill Tsunade, it seemed that there was really no strategy to deal with it, even if he knew all the information about the other party. Damn it. That guy still wants to attack Tsunade. Where is my future self? Why don't I come out to deal with them? Naruto clenched his fists angrily. Jiraiya stopped thinking for a while, and after a moment of silence, he replied, "You should have been taken to Meiboku Mountain to learn fairy arts. In that case, if you want to defeat Pain, this is the only feasible arrangement. Damn it. Damn it." Naruto gritted his teeth, and the anger in his heart could not stop surging. Why would my future self forgive such people, when they have destroyed Konoha like that? Tsunade recognized the face of Tendo as Yahiko, whom she had met once before. Tendo did not elaborate on this topic and asked directly, "Uzumaki Naruto. Where is the Ninetales?" "Who knows?" Tsunade replied expressionlessly. Tendo was not angry at this and said lightly, "The Jinchuriki have basically been captured. The balance of power between the ninja villages maintained by the tailed beasts can no longer be maintained. At this point, it is meaningless for you to protect the Ninetales. Disputes will arise, the flames of war have spread, and we will become the leaders of the war. If you know the situation, help us. In this way, we can let you go. Our strength, after seeing the current situation, you should know it very well. I don't quite understand why they let Akatsuki grow so powerful. The tailed beasts have been basically captured, but the countries have no countermeasures. They just let Akatsuki run rampant in the ninja world. Don't apply the current situation in the ninja world to Shyammu. With the countries being vigilant against each other, I think all countries should be looking forward to other countries being invaded. I just didn't expect that they would nurture the enemy and take care of themselves later, let alone, even though the 5 major countries have strength in cooperation now, even though Akatsuki has blatantly attacked 3 of the 5 major ninja villages and snatched away several tailed beasts, Didn't the 5 major countries still not gather all their forces to attack the Hidden Rain village? After all, sometimes the enemies in the open are not scary. What's scary is the knife that stabs people in the dark. It's because everyone holds this idea that they can't work together. Maybe we have to wait until a few more tailed beasts are captured before the 5 major countries can reflect and go all out to deal with Akatsuki. Then the 4th Ninja World War will begin. Okay, I won't say anything to spoil the fun. Let's continue to see how Konoha will fight against pain. Alice, Konoha, which has always been the number 1 in the ninja world, is actually looked down upon in front of others. Can you imagine this scene? It's still threatened by one person. This world is getting more and more incomprehensible. It's right that you don't understand it. The child of prophecy must have some gold content. Don't underestimate the 5 cage. Tsunade, angered by Pine's attitude, shouted, "We have been committed to creating and maintaining peace and stability since our ancestors, and there is nothing to say to you terrorists who want to destroy it." Tendao, who had closed his eyes to listen to the answer, suddenly opened his eyes, and for the first time, anger was heard in his cold tone. "Don't be so arrogant." The strong pressure made the 4 Anbu feel like they were facing a great enemy. Tendao, who showed his momentum, quickly restrained his emotions, and returned to his previous tone and said coldly, "What you call peace is violence against us." Indeed, what Konoha did in the past was not entirely correct, but I absolutely cannot forgive your atrocities. Tsunade made her attitude clear. Tsunade is very good at refuting from a moral high ground, making Konoha seem innocent. Isn't what Lady Tsunade said wrong? When did Konoha not passively counterattack? Weren't the 3 ninja world wars in the past provoked by other ninja villages? It's easy to talk when you are standing. Konoha occupies the most resource-rich area. Have you ever thought about the life and death of our small countries? Oh. You are poor so you are right? We have abundant resources so we deserve to be robbed, right? These are all obtained by the struggle of our ancestors. If you are dissatisfied, go and protest to them. Blame them for not earning more family business for future generations. Okay, why are you arguing again? Just now we were talking about joining forces to deal with Akatsuki. If we continue to maintain this mutual hostility, we will wait for Akatsuki to defeat us one by one and rule the ninja world, but Tsunade really has no right to say these things in front of Pine. Apart from anything else, the Hidden Rain village is definitely a victims. It was the Rain ninjas who attacked our Konoha first. We can't think of them as victims just because they were defeated by us. There is some reason for the Hidden Rain village to be hostile to the Tsunagakure. Although the Tsunagakure's original purpose was just to use it as a passage to attack Konoha, it was the party that took the initiative to invade the Hidden Rain village after all. No, you guys are discussing this and that. What does this have to do with Nagato? During World War II, he was just a civilian in the Hidden Rain village. In his view, all the forces participating in the war should be persecutors. Maybe Konoha didn't start the war, but once you join in, there's no right or wrong. The civilians who were hurt by it will definitely blame the participants for all the mistakes. Tiandeo was too lazy to continue talking to her, and directly issued an ultimatum. Watch your wording. This is God's last warning. Tell me where Uzumaki Naruto is hiding. What we have to do now is to fight you with all our strength, that's all. In addition, you may have made a mistake. The thing you want most will never fall into your hands. Tsunade's attitude remained the same, and Yandeo threatened, if you think Konoha ninjas can protect Uzumaki Naruto forever, no. Tsunade interrupted Yandeo's threat, and raised the corner of her mouth to reveal a trusting look. Naruto is very strong. Chapter 429. Why is Pine so persistent in asking about Naruto's whereabouts, knowing that no one will tell him? If telling him can make him leave Konoha, do you think anyone will say so? The problem is that everyone knows that he can't just leave like that. He's an anticlimax invasion, so how can he save face? What does it have to do with face? He has already made it clear that he wants to make each other feel the same pain, and catching the 9 tails is just one of his goals. The scene changes to the secret department of Konoha. Shizune, Yamanaka Ino, and an Anbu captain are summarizing the information about Pine based on the clues they have found. Suddenly, a figure in an Akatsuki robe descended from the sky to the middle of the 4 people, and in an instant, he controlled Shizune, making the other 3 dare not act rashly. The restrained Shizune's eyes lost their spirit. Human Pine pressed her head and read the information he wanted from her brain in a few seconds. Then he took out Shizune's soul without saying a word and wiped out her life. He also passed the information to Tendao in the Hokage building. It seems that Uzumaki Naruto is not here, Myaboku Mountain. Tendao said lightly, and Tsunade's face changed immediately when she heard it. Hiss. Although I've seen this move before, but he got the information he wanted from the opponent's brain in just a few seconds. This guy alone can be as good as several people from the intelligence team. Hey. Shizune is dead too? She appeared alive afterwards. Was she resurrected like Kakashi? Is there no limit to Konoha's resurrection technique? Watching Pine kill Shizune so casually, Tsunade clenched her fist and slammed it on the table with a fierce expression. Pine, to what extent are you going to hurt Konoha? Tsunade's reaction is a bit contradictory. Did she have someone recall Naruto when Pine just invaded? Now that the other party knows Naruto's whereabouts, is there any need to be so surprised? Anyway, they will face each other sooner or later. So it's up to Naruto to turn the tide? Why does Konoha look so powerless? I don't understand. The enemy's strength is beyond imagination, and on the other hand, they were caught off guard. In this case, being at home is actually a disadvantage, just like when Deidara and Gaara fought. Ignoring Tsunade's expression, Tendao said to himself, Myaboku Mountain, it seems to be the village where the toads are. It seems that there is no point in staying here. Although it is unknown where Tendao got the information, in this completely disadvantageous situation, Tsunade can only endure the humiliation and let the other party leave so that she can strengthen the defense of the village again later. Turning around and preparing to leave, Pine suddenly spoke. One last question, is the chakra under your feet used to deal with my technique? It seems that you already know my ability. However, in the face of overwhelming power, any defense is meaningless. Hasn't this been proven by you big countries? Tisk, they didn't even dare to stop them, and could only let them go. Konoha, one of the 5 great countries, will one day be stepped on and shit on by the Hidden Rain village. Did Pine's words answer this question? Because he is stronger than Konoha, no matter how unwilling they are, they can only accept it obediently. In order to deal with his technique. It's the repulsion and attraction technique, just like Pine said, this way of dealing with it is completely a drop in the bucket compared to the power displayed by the opponent. If Pine wanted to, it would be easy for him to demolish the entire Hokage building. You think you are the protagonists of the world, and you just want to stay away from killing and pursue superficial peace, but you don't understand that the killer will be killed, and hatred will connect the two together. Nonsense. Tsunade sank her face, but Tendo ignored her and turned his head to say to himself, war is accompanied by casualties and pain on both sides. Our great country has also suffered the same pain, don't use this as an excuse to excuse yourself. Tsunade pointed at Tendo and said loudly. Ridiculous. Shiandeo said lightly, and the whole person floated out of thin air. Feel the pain, think about the pain, accept the pain, and understand the pain. People who don't understand pain can't understand true peace. Although I'm very upset that Konoha occupies the richest piece of land in the entire continent, I still can't help but want to defend them here. Konoha's casualties in the past wars are definitely no less than any other country, and even because of they are participants in every war, so the casualties should be greater than those of other countries. Konoha has sufficient resources, so its recovery speed is faster than other countries. That's why it looks like it has never experienced war. But it's a bit untenable to say that they are the perpetrators of those weak countries. It feels like Pine is acting with some kind of personal grudge. To understand Pine's thoughts, we must first understand his criteria for judging pain. On both sides of the scale are Konoha and Megacure? Or Konoha and Pine? But judging from his current performance, it is most likely the latter. In this way, what degree of damage to Konoha must be reached to be considered the same pain depends entirely on Pine's personal thoughts. Tisk. Even if you don't use your brain, you can see what Pine is going to do next. Is the ultimate move coming? Did he fly by manipulating gravity? It was difficult enough to deal with it, and now it seems even more difficult to deal with it. At Myaboku Mountain, because the name of the contact frog disappeared from the list, Fukasaku, who was helping Naruto train, immediately guessed that something had happened in Konoha, so it quickly asked Naruto to prepare for battle, and said that it would rush to the center of the battlefield through the summoning technique of Shima, who was preparing food near Konoha. Almost at the same time, the animal path escaped and came to the outside of Konoha village, and used the summoning technique to summon the other pains and Konan who were still active in the village, except for Tendo, What's going on? Konan asked, and the animal path answered in a flat voice, use that. No. That technique will shorten your life. Konan immediately objected when she heard it, but Nagato had made up his mind and directly concentrated the power of the other 5 pains on Tendo. Chapter 430. Looking at the 5 pains lying on the ground, Konan looked up at the sky with a serious expression. The power of 6 people. Are we going to do it anyway, Nagato? Naruto only received the information from Konoha now, and it seems that it was not through the normal communication channels. It seems that something happened in Konoha during the invasion of Peens. Is someone trying to stop Naruto from returning to Konoha? Sure enough, the 6 Peens are all puppets, and Nagato is secretly controlling them. This is a real hammer. Here it comes. When the power is concentrated, it still consumes life to perform the technique. What effect can it have? Tsunade, who was also looking at Tendao, didn't know what he wanted to do, but she knew that she had to come forward to stop him, so Tsunade rushed towards Tendao with 4 Anbu without hesitation. However, Tendao, who was floating high above Konoha, could see the whole picture of Konoha at this time. This godlike perspective did not accommodate a single individual. Spreading his hands, the whole person was bathed in the dazzling sunlight, and the heavenly Deo issued a declaration of judgment. I will not forget your Hiko's pain. From now on, let the world feel pain. Shinra Tensei. Wow. This perspective really looks a bit like God. You mentioned your Hiko specifically. It seems that Nagato is indeed carrying some resentment. So your Hiko actually died at the hands of Konoha. After talking about a lot of things, such as pain and understanding, it all comes down to revenge. In a trance, it seemed that a dazzling white light flashed from the sky. The Konoha ninjas who were still searching for the enemy on the street were hit head-on by an unimaginable shock wave the next second. Without giving any time to react, this shock wave spread to every corner of Konoha at an extremely fast speed, with the ground under Tendao's feet as the center, like an eraser erasing marks on paper, effortlessly erasing the originally row upon row of buildings, and suddenly turning the originally prosperous Konoha village into a wasteland with a huge deep pit. Everyone was pushed to the edge of the village by a large amount of building debris. If it weren't for the slug that Tsunade summoned before to protect most of the people, Konoha might have lost at least 80% of its personnel in just this one blow. Oh my god. What did I see? Oh my god. Although I knew he was going to use some kind of big move, but this effect. The whole Konoha was wiped out. It seems that I was too conservative before. I actually thought that Konoha could suppress pain as long as I collected a little more information. With this kind of power, Konoha's people will not die. Although it is a ninjutsu that consumes life to perform, but this power is really too terrifying. If Nagato's lifespan can support it, then he will attack the 5 major ninja villages one by one, and he will be able to defeat all the forces that resist Akatsuki in an instant. This is the most powerful move so far. Is this kind of opponent really something we can deal with? Rinnegan. Damn. Jiraiya, what a mess you left behind. That prophecy that said it would destroy the world was not exaggerated. So, Naruto defeated this kind of opponent next. Is it really enough to rely on the Sage Mode alone? Why does it feel that even the golden form may not be a match? You can defeat such an enemy, no wonder you are regarded as a hero by the people of Konoha. In the Pure Land, Hoshirama Senju and Tobirama Senju changed their faces the moment they saw Konoha was beaten into an empty space. Strong pressure exploded from their bodies, forcing the people around them to flee far away from them. In the belly of the god of death, Minato was stunned at first, and then his face sank. He was angry about the damage Konoha suffered, and at the same time, he was worried about Naruto's upcoming confrontation with such an enemy. In the Hokage's office, Tsunade crushed the floor directly, and the hand holding the windowsill exerted a strong force to crush it into pieces. An extreme anger surged in her heart, almost making her eyes red. In the snake cave, Orochimaru put down the experiment at hand, took a deep look at the sky, and his eyes became a little gloomy. The completely collapsed windmill could not turn. In the mission team heading to the snow country, Jiraiya's lips trembled slightly, and he opened his mouth but could not make any sound. He was for Konoha, so that he could say to Tsunade, "If you betray me, I will kill you." Kill her. And judging from the words that Nagato said while controlling Yohiko's body, Yohiko's death was most likely related to Konoha. This conflict turned Jiraiya's brain into a mess for a while, and he was completely unable to sort out his thoughts and make a reasonable response. And Naruto was very simple. Angry. Extreme anger. Even his eyes turned into the anger of beast pupils. This made Kakashi, who was also frowning and trying to calm down his anger, immediately come back to his senses and quickly prepared to intervene at any time. Sasuke leaned against the carriage, looking at the sky with an expressionless face, not knowing what he was thinking. In the hidden cloud village, the Raikage who was planning to send the eight-tailed killer bee to Kame Island, felt fortunate at first after seeing what happened to Konoha on the sky, and then a surge of anger because of shame. It was both anger at Akatsuki for not taking them seriously and anger at himself for feeling fortunate about such a thing. In Iwagakure, Inoki looked at the situation on the sky screen with an expressionless face. Thinking about the four-tailed beast and the five-tailed beast that Akatsuki was targeting, he could not help but feel anxious. He felt that the cooperation proposal he had put forward before was too conservative. In Kurigakure, Maid Arumi, who was overwhelmed by the busy village affairs, had no other ideas except to make her mood worse after seeing the sky screen. In Sand Village, Luo pursed his lips, thinking whether he should send Gar to study in Konoha for a while. Otherwise, if Akatsuki did this in Sand Village, he would not have the confidence that Sand Village could recover. Obito and Black Zetsu, who were looking for the traces of Jinchuriki everywhere, breathed a sigh of relief after seeing the situation on the sky screen. Knowing the destructive power that Nagato could bring, the countries in the ninja world will be more cautious and will inevitably take more countermeasures against Akatsuki. Although this will also hinder them from capturing the remaining tailed beasts, it can deepen their cooperative relationship with Nagato. After all, no one wants to face the 5 major ninja villages alone when they get serious. Chapter 431. Sakura staggered out of the slug's body, coughed a few times, looked up at the smoke and dust in front of her, and there was no trace of Konoha except for the Hokage rock. Her pupils trembled violently. What is this? Why is it like this? Naruto, come back soon. Tears flowed from the corners of her eyes. Sakura clenched her scarred hands and shouted heartbreakingly, please, Naruto. Amid Sakura's desperate shouts, a huge cloud of smoke exploded in the center of the shockwave. The smoke quickly dissipated in the flowing air, revealing a figure in the middle wearing a red divine robe and carrying a huge scroll. It was Uzumaki Naruto, who had already learned the Sage Mode. Did Sakura survive with the slug summoned by Tsunade? I wonder if the same is true for the others. Slugs are mollusks and are very resistant to shockwave attacks. Naruto's appearance was planned, right after Pain destroyed Konoha. Nonsense. It was Sakura who performed the partner summoning technique. Okay, stop joking, the main course is about to be served, the duel between the children of prophecy. Destruction and peace. Actually, according to the prophecy, if both of them are children of prophecy, it cannot be guaranteed that Naruto will win. In the end, it all depends on the skills of each other. Those who cannot beat the other are naturally not qualified to decide the future. Naruto's face is covered with orange eyeshadow, and the horizontal pupils unique to toads are clearly visible. He folds his hands in front of his chest and stands majestically on the head of Kamakichi, who also folds his hands. Fukasaku Senin squatting in front of Naruto also does the same. Then the three of them appear as a whole on the head of Gamabunta, who looks unruly. On both sides of Gamabunta are Gamakn holding a thorn harpoon and Gamahiro carrying 2 swords. Where's this place? Naruto, who was originally full of fighting spirit, asked with a puzzled look after looking at the desolate environment around him. At this time, Shima Sage came over. When Fukasaku Sage saw it, he immediately asked, Old woman, what's going on? Why don't you summon us to Konoha village? This is Konoha. Shima Sage replied solemnly. Although I don't know the details of the Sage Mode, I am very clear about one thing, that is, Naruto's Sage Mode is much better than Jiraiya's. Coupled with this red divine robe, this is the look that a hero should have. He also brought a few helpers. Although the combat power is sufficient, the size of the 3 big toads seems to be inconvenient to use against Pain. Don't forget the one who uses summoning among Pain. The 3 big toads are just right for dealing with those summon beasts, while Naruto and the 2 old toads can deal with Pain. Naruto thought he had gone to the wrong place. Who'll replace him? Will be confused. Before this scene appeared, could anyone imagine that Konoha would become like this? No wonder there was a scene of Konoha's massive construction before. This is a complete demolition and reconstruction. Naruto's face changed immediately after hearing this. He looked around for a familiar environment. It was not until the smoke and dust completely dissipated that he confirmed his current location through the Hokage rock. You should know who did this. I had the same feeling when I stood on Jiraiya's shoulder. Shima Sage reminded him faintly. Naruto's eyes changed from trance to solemnity, and finally turned into completely uncontrollable anger. In the ruins closest to the center of the battlefield, a broken wall was pushed open by the Anbu ninja, revealing Tsunade, who was covered in dirt and bruises. Blood slid down her cheek to her chin, but Tsunade didn't bother to deal with it. Instead, she stared at the empty space in front of her with a dull expression. After she reacted, she gritted her teeth and said, "Unforgivable. Unforgivable, Pine. Hey." Tsunade doesn't seem to be in any serious trouble. It seems that although Pine's move has a large range, its power against a single individual is not as strong as expected. Please, don't take Tsunade's strength as an average level. Even though she is a medical ninja, Tsunade's strength is definitely at the level of Kage. Coupled with her self-recovery ability, it's not surprising that she survived after being hit by Pine. Anyway, ordinary ninjas will definitely have no resistance to such attacks. Whether they can survive depends on their response and luck. The Anbu ninja who was guarding her turned his head to look at Tsunade, and at first glance, he noticed that the blood on her forehead had disappeared. The mark on the forehead is gone. It seems that Lady Tsunade used the creation regeneration technique and gave all her chakra to Lady Slug in order to protect the people of the village from Pine. In this case, the scene jumps through the ruins one by one. All the people wrapped by the slugs are safe and sound. At most, they look a little embarrassed. They are even treating the injured, but the survivors are confused after seeing the surrounding environment. Except for Shikoku and Shikamaru, who are good at analysis and have seen some clues, only Hinata and Sakura, who happen to be with a Hyuga clan member, know what happened in the center of the battlefield. Hiss. Everyone was saved with the help of the slug. I dare not say everyone, but most of them were saved. Is this the ultimate of a medical ninja? He treated the entire village by himself. If it weren't for Tsunade, Konoha would have been eliminated directly after Pine's attack. After all, no matter how powerful their resurrection technique is, it's impossible to easily resurrect such a number of people. In the office, Tsunade touched the mark on her forehead with a solemn expression. She knew very well that with just the chakra stored in this yin seal, it was already the limit for the ninjas in the village to be protected once, and although the enemy seemed to have consumed a lot, they definitely still had the strength to fight. In other words, without Naruto's help, Konoha's current strength alone was completely unable to stop Pine's attack. As for the resurrection technique mentioned in the barrage, no one knew it better than Tsunade. Konoha didn't have such a technique at all. She didn't even know how Kakashi and Shizune were resurrected afterwards. It's not enough. We must have stronger power to fight against Akatsuki, but it's impossible for the 5 major countries to have deeper cooperation in a short period of time. Tsunade bit her thumbnail with an irritated look. It seemed that since she became the acting Hokage, her frown had never relaxed for a moment. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432. Tendao, who fell from the sky, slowly walked into Naruto's sight and said with cold eyes, "It saves me the time to look for you." In the forest outside the village, the 4 pains who had recovered their power stood up again, and then, with the power of Jigakudo, they repaired the already broken and immobile Shirato and restored its mobility. Looking at Shirato grabbing the waist of the animal path and preparing to throw it, Konan looked reluctant. "Why do you do this?" "Because this is my justice." The animal path responded lightly, and then, under the power of Shirato, it was thrown into the sky above Konoha again. This summoned an unknown thing, chewed it twice, and resurrected the pine that Kakashi had killed with great difficulty. Isn't it clear? These pines are just puppets controlled by Nagato, so it can't be said to be resurrected, it can only be said to be repaired. Even if it's repaired, it's exaggerated. If the puppeteer has this technology, there is no need to worry about the repair of puppets. Sure enough, this pine who can repair other pines is the top priority target, otherwise it will be endless. Konan saw from Pine's recovery speed that Nagato's condition was declining. In order to avoid any accidents, she said that she would not continue to act with Pine next, and then turned into scattered paper and disappeared on the spot. It seems that she returned to Nagato's side to take care of his body. Thrown into Konoha's animal path, he used the summoning technique again to summon the remaining 4 peons to the side of the heavenly path. All 6 peons gathered and prepared for battle. Naruto was about to take action in the confrontation with Tendo, when Tsunade suddenly appeared between the two sides. She was seen panting and said with anger, "I am the 5th Hokage. You guys. How dare you destroy the treasures and dreams passed down to us by our ancestors? Unforgivable. I am here to end it with you as the Hokage." What? Konan actually thinks that Pine's recovery speed has slowed down. He just performed a move of that scale, and the other peons have already recovered their ability to move. Aren't you satisfied with this level? It's still the same reason. This is the Samsara. Don't make a fuss about anything that happens. This Konan who has been active in Konoha is just a paper clone. Although she is only responsible for the task of gathering intelligence, she has almost defeated all the Konoha ninjas she encountered. Is it because Jiraiya is good at teaching, or are they just so talented? Why are they all so strong? Excuse me, Jiraiya, do you still plan to accept disciples? To be honest, I have always felt that I am a bara genius. If I have a famous teacher to guide me, I may become the next child of prophecy. Please consider my request. My contact address is, fuck, the address cannot be sent out. What is this calculation? Are you going to let Jiraiya mass produce the children of prophecy? Tsunade is so angry that she can't even see the situation clearly. In anger, she will naturally look for Pine to fight to the death. At this time, she can't care about anything else. It seems that you understand the pain a little, but I'm not looking for you. Shiandeo said in a flat tone, I want to find. Before he finished speaking, Shiradeo rushed at Tsunade first. Seeing that the sharp blade in his hand was about to pierce through the opponent's body, Naruto appeared in front of Tsunade in an instant, and the Rasengan in his hand hit Shiradeo's back fiercely, smashing the parts of his body into pieces in an instant. It's me. Naruto raised his head and showed an angry look. Everyone who was paying attention to the situation on the battlefield was shocked by Naruto's performance, and Tsunade, who was protected by him, saw the shadows of Jiraiya and Minato Namikaze from Naruto's back. Wow, Naruto is so handsome. This newly repaired Pine was killed in one go. Although I have seen it several times, the strength improvement after entering the Sage mode is really great. And the most important thing is that this is an all-round improvement, with almost no shortcomings. After Naruto's move, I suddenly felt that it was not impossible to fight Pine. I thought he had little hope before. Unlike Naruto's previous protection, this time it is a battle of revenge. To be honest, hatred is sometimes stronger than the heart of protection in terms of stimulating strength. The problem is that Naruto finally let go of his hatred, so he can go with peace of mind later. Stop Sasuke, right? It was hard to accept the hatred of being killed by Naruto, and now the hatred of Konoha being destroyed has to be added. Naruto actually convinced himself to let go of his hatred under such circumstances, and also convinced Nagato to terminate the plan. I don't know how he did it. If it is an answer that can be easily thought of, then the identity of the child of prophecy is not a big deal. To deal with these guys, there is no need for the Hokage of Konoha to take action. Grandma, you step aside and drink your tea slowly. Naruto said to Tsunade, pretending to be relaxed. Gamabunta, who was still waiting in place, smiled and said to Fukasaku Sage, Grandpa, you also saw those two familiar backs. Yes. Sen and Fukasaku also smiled, and agreed. It seems that little Naruto has surpassed his ancestors, Uzumaki Naruto. Looking directly into Naruto's eyes, Tendo gently called out his name. Naruto gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, let's make a break. Tendo's power cannot be restored for a while, so, after sorting out the situation of their own power, under the control of Nagato, the remaining 5 pains formed a new battle formation. For every person Naruto carries on his shoulders, there will be one more person's shadow behind him, right? Jiraiya entrusted everything to Naruto, so it's understandable that those close to him have some sense of deja vu. Tendo, is that the name of the pain who destroyed Konoha? This naming method, 6 paths pain, 6 paths of reincarnation, right? Fortunately, Pine, Tiandeo's ability is temporarily unusable. If it can be used continuously, I don't think Naruto has a chance to defeat him. Chapter 433. How come there is no chance? Although his ability is difficult to deal with, it is not without flaws. As for the attack that affects the entire Konoha, it will definitely not be used as an ordinary move. It will consume lifespan. Naruto immediately ordered Kakashi to take Tsunade away from the battlefield, and then told Tsunade, "Grandma, leave this to me. Tell everyone in the village not to take action. If you want to fight and protect everyone at the same time, I will be very passive." Tsunade did not show off. After expressing her understanding, she handed a small slug to Naruto. The information about Pine will be passed to him through this slug. Fukasaku and Shima also came to both sides of the scroll behind Naruto. After making all the preparations before the battle, Naruto suddenly asked before making a move, "Although I may not be able to ask this question now, because I have mastered the natural energy, I can sense everyone's chakra. Kakashi-sensei, are you out on a mission?" Tsunade remained silent and did not answer, but Naruto immediately understood what she meant and murmured in a flat tone, "Is that so?" Tisk tisk tisk, Naruto's tone. Does he think that other partners are a burden? This mentality is not good. Maybe this is indeed the truth, but it can't be said. Isn't this what Naruto always does, taking on all the most dangerous tasks, fearing that his companions around him will be hurt? Even if there is no this habit, looking at the current environment, as long as the brain is a little normal, they will understand what the people in the village have suffered. In this case, how could Naruto let others intervene in such a dangerous battle? Naruto suffered another critical hit. As soon as he appeared on the scene, he received the news that Kakashi was killed in the battle. In another situation, I might cry again. 2 of the 3 most important teachers have died at the hands of the enemy. If Iruka had not been rescued before, Naruto might have directly turned into a tailed beast. Without giving Naruto time to indulge in sadness, the animal path took the lead. A huge rhinoceros broke through the smoke of the summoning technique and rushed straight towards him. Naruto did not avoid it. He stretched his hands forward and grabbed the rhinoceros's horn, and then threw it high into the air with a fierce force. The animal path continued to attack, summoning 2 more beasts to rush over. After Fukasaku and Shima used Senjutsu, Frog screamed to freeze the 2 monsters. Naruto used Senjutsu, Big Ball Rasengan, to knock the 2 monsters away, while his real body rushed straight towards Pain. Bunta, who was waiting in the back, also called on his 2 brothers to attack the summoned beasts that were blown into the air. In no time, they killed the summoned bull and rhino, and then Bunta suppressed the hellhound that was not afraid of being attacked. There are 5 Peens left. 1 is responsible for repairing the other Peens. Tendo cannot use his abilities for the time being. The other 3 have 1 summoning, 1 reading minds and extracting souls, and 1 absorbing chakra. Why do I suddenly feel that Peens are not a big deal? As long as Naruto is a little more serious, he can defeat them. It's an illusion caused by the increase in the power of the Sage mode. That huge summoned beast can't last a round under Naruto. It seems that the Peens give people the feeling that they can be dealt with as long as they are a little more serious. Although the abilities of a single Pine are difficult to deal with, they are not impossible to deal with. The key is their cooperation. The combination of various abilities almost makes up for all the shortcomings. If you want to defeat such an opponent, you can only rely on hard power to compete with the opponent. There is another point you didn't say. As long as Tendo is there, it is almost impossible to be besieged by a large group of people. As long as Nagato feel that the situation is not good, a Shinra Tensei will come down, and as many as come will die. Tisk, is there no way to deal with this Shinra Tensei? What is the specific upper limit of deflecting everything around? I think this issue has been discussed before. Even if there is an upper limit, it is not something that ordinary ninjas can do. It can be seen from the fact that the entire Konoha was razed to the ground. What about concentrating the power at one point? This Shinra Tensei is a 360-degree all-round attack. If there is resistance that exceeds its power limit at a certain point, then the space behind this side will not be affected. Power-concentrated attacks, Kakashi's Raikiri is this type, isn't it? It was also deflected in an instant. Hungry Ghost Road rushed forward to meet Naruto. After being reminded by the slug, Naruto knew that the ninjutsu was ineffective against the opponent in front of him, and immediately came up with a countermeasure. Naruto's fist and Hungry Ghost Road's black stick hit each other at the same time, and then the 2 continued to attack at the same time. He turned his head to avoid the opponent's attack, but he didn't expect that even though he had avoided the attack, Hungry Ghost Path was still inexplicably knocked away. Looking at Hungry Ghost Path lying in the distance and unable to move, Shyandao was a little confused. Under the gaze of other pains, he was very sure that Naruto did not make any other movements, and he couldn't figure out how Hungry Ghost Path was attacked. Senfu Kasaku, who had completed the task of containment, knew that the Sage Mode could use the natural energy around the body. As long as he was in this state, these natural energies became part of Naruto's body, and it was natural to use them to attack pains. Did Nagato's strength decline after Tendo released that big move? Otherwise, how could Naruto defeat Pain with one move? At this rate, the battle should be over in 2 minutes at most. Naruto's performance is not much better than Jiraiya's. Why is it so easy for him to beat Pain? Easy. It turns out that there is no price for information about Pain, right? Naruto's current victory was achieved by stepping on the efforts of many sacrifices. This is why Jiraiya had to do that suicide mission. All the information it was gathered on Naruto that he was able to solve the problem so quickly. By the way, since he can manipulate natural energy in this way, why doesn't Jiraiya use it himself? And why did he say that physical skills are ineffective against Pain? This kind of invisible attack doesn't matter how many pairs of Samsara eyes the opponent has. Is it possible that Jiraiya can't use it? I had this feeling before. His toad-like form is a sign that he hasn't mastered the Sage Mode yet. Maybe this is the correct answer. Chapter 434. Perfect Sage Mode? Only in this state can you control natural energy as you wish. Jiraiya sighed while looking at Shinmu, and then cast his eyes on Naruto, who was sitting in the front of the car, wishing he could rush into Shinmu and beat Pain up. Is it enough to just pass on the ninja way and spirit to him? I am a master after all, so I should at least be a good role model for him. Or let's set a goal. Before teaching him Sage Mode, I will first complete the perfect Sage Mode, and then see what kind of expression he will show, Jiraiya thought to himself while touching his chin. There is no time to waste, let me end this with a new technique. Naruto looked at Shinjo with angry eyes, and formed a hand seal of Shadow Clone with his hands to create 2 Shadow Clone. It seems that you have become a sage too, and the technique you use is the same as that of teacher Jiraiya. Looking at the familiar sage face on Naruto's face, Shinjo said lightly. But Naruto was stunned when the other party sighed. Jiraiya. Teacher. I also learned ninjutsu from Jiraiya. Jiraiya was my former teacher. To you, I am your senior brother. Shinjo said expressionlessly. We are from the same school, so we should understand each other. Peace is the master's hope. There is a new technique again. And this line is the same as when fighting Kakuzu before. Very confident, actually thinking of solving the enemy in one go. It seems that Naruto is a little anxious. Although I know that anger can improve combat effectiveness, it is also easy to be used by the enemy. This is also a tactic. Look, isn't Pain using Jiraiya's name to stab Naruto? Laughing, Pain actually told Naruto to understand each other, but you want to have his life. How can Naruto rejoicing with others, and you will not be compassionate with you? Do? Can you follow the peace? I saw wood, I don't see the forest. This is just because you don't understand the meaning of peace. The expression of the heaven is always unchanged, you can capture it, your death will bring peace. Sword. This is not expected to have a scene at all, which makes Pain's response a little slower, so that after the human road pulls the beast road, it cannot be dodged and was directly hit. The screw sword rotating chakra's blade was cut into fragments in a moment. This is the Rasenshuriken. What kind of new technique is that? Well, strictly speaking, this move should be called Senjutsu Rasenshuriken, and it can be thrown out, and even the attack mode has changed, so it can be called a new move. When Pain said this, did he really think from the bottom of his heart that this was to guide peace? Looking at the miserable conditions of those people, did he really not feel offended? What does the miserable condition of the enemy matter? Aren't they all necessary sacrifices in his eyes? As long as it can bring peace, it's fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here to persuade Naruto to surrender. Damn, he just shaved off a Pain. When he fought Kakuzu before, he relied on countless thin blades to attack. Another one move at a time. It turns out that hatred is much more useful than bonds and protection. There will definitely be a reversal. At worst there is still Nagato's real body waiting. Naruto is currently only fighting the front opponent. Looking at the spiral shuriken exploding behind him, Tendao made a comment. As Deidara said, you are a guy who can't listen to others. On the other side, the originally suppressed summoning dog suddenly split apart and broke away from Bunta's control, attacking the 2 toads from the left and right, and Naruto also started a duel with the animal path that summoned the giant bird. Tirandeo noticed that Naruto's movements had become sluggish, and judged that the opponent had consumed too much Senjutsu chakra. Naruto was naturally aware of his own condition, and looked at the beast in front of him with a slightly anxious expression and said, "Oh no, the Sage Mode is about to expire, and I'd better get rid of this guy before I cancel it." That's right, unlike Jiraiya, Naruto's Sage Mode lasts for a very short time, and he needs to reabsorb natural energy after each fight. Is that why he's so anxious? He wants to do as much as possible in the state of Sage Mode, kill a few enemies, and then deal with the rest in normal conditions. Will it be that smooth? The pain who can repair other pains is still there, and it is unknown when the power of Tendo will be restored. Then, what about Nagato's true form? Can Naruto deal with him in normal conditions? I say, have you forgotten Naruto's other trump card? If it doesn't work, just transform into a tailed beast. The power of the Nine Tails has helped Naruto turn the tide many times in the past. It should be no problem to deal with the remaining few pains. As for Nagato, we may have to fight to know. Senin Fukasaku, who also saw Naruto's performance, asked Senin Shima to quickly cut off the shared vision of the Samsara Eye according to the plan, and he came to Bunta and said loudly, "Zio Wen, I'm going to throw you to Naruto now, and then do as I say." Shima Sage leaped high and blew a large cloud of dust with his celestial technique, wind style, which covered the entire battlefield. Fukasaku Sage seized the opportunity and threw out Gamabunta with a strong force, and then Gamabunta swallowed the animal path and Naruto directly into his mouth. The sudden darkness made the animal path slightly stunned, but Naruto, who relied on natural energy perception, could see the opponent clearly, so in this advantageous situation, Naruto launched his own attack Rasengan. That's the fourth one. Nagato, do you have any other trump cards? Otherwise, Naruto will go find your real body. It's really overwhelming, making the evaluation of the combat effectiveness of the 3 battalions seem like a joke, giving people a feeling that pain is just so-so. Intelligence, coordination, timing, strength, as long as any one of them is missing, Naruto can't play so smoothly. It won't be that easy. We've discussed this before. The first pain to be eliminated must be the one who can repair the others. As long as he's not defeated, it doesn't matter how well Naruto fights. Chapter 435. A puff of smoke exploded from Bunta's mouth, and Tendo immediately realized that the animal path had been swallowed by it, but it was too late to do anything, because the summoned beasts on the field disappeared at the same time, indicating that the animal path had been defeated by Naruto. Bunta spit out Naruto in the animal path. Looking at Naruto, who was panting and no longer had the sage's face, Tendo made a judgment. Has the sage technique been lifted? Naruto was sweating profusely, and his face was a little depressed. It seems that in Sage Mode, the Rasenshuriken can only be used twice at most. Noticing his change, Sage Shima quickly proposed to use fusion to restore Naruto's combat effectiveness, but Sage Fukasaku said that fusion could not be used because of the Nine Tails. Fortunately, Naruto found a solution himself. The duration of Sage Mode is so short, it seems like less than a few minutes. So the 2 toads standing on Jiraiya's shoulders are to help him maintain Sage Mode. Then how does Kabuto do it? Did he maintain that state after entering Sage Mode? Why can't Naruto? You can only use Rasenshuriken twice. Although I don't know which one is stronger, Sage Mode or Naruto's golden form. If the short duration is not solved, there will not be many occasions where this move is applicable. Can't Naruto absorb natural energy with shadow clones? Didn't they do the same thing in the previous incident at Kazuna Castle? Dragged down by the Nine Tails, is it because the natural energy and the power of the tailed beasts are incompatible? Or is the Nine Tails messing things up? Naruto untied the scroll behind him and ran away, preparing to resume Sage Mode after distance. Naturally, Tendo would not watch him move without any reaction, so he rushed over and attacked him. Although Bunta tried to intercept Tendo's attack, the disadvantage of being too big was reflected at this time. Tendo easily dodged Bunta's slash, and jumped directly in front of Naruto with the help of Bunta's body. Fortunately, Sage Fukasaku cooperated in time. After Naruto threw the scroll to it, he started a physical contest with Tendo, who was close to him. The 2 of them were evenly matched. On the other side, Fukasaku took the scroll and immediately unfolded it, then performed a reverse summoning technique to summon Naruto's shadow clone, who was staying in Maiboku Mountain and absorbing natural energy. Why do we need to summon Naruto's shadow clone? Can't we just let Naruto cancel the shadow clone? Is it because Myoboku Mountain is in a different space, so Naruto's orders can't be transmitted? No one should have had this experience of the main body and the shadow clone being in different spaces. This is probably the answer. When he can't use his abilities, although Tendao's physical skills are also very strong, they have been downgraded to the level that can be dealt with, so don't think he is too invincible. When you say this, how to deal with the opponent's abilities is the key. Can you still say that as long as Kakashi doesn't use the Sharingan, he is at best at the level of a Jonin? By cancelling the Shadow Clone and returning the Senjutsu Chakra, Naruto entered the Sage mode again, and then caught Tendao off guard. Naruto crossed his hands to break the black stick in Pine's hand, and then kicked him in the face. Although Tendo took a defensive stance in time, he could not withstand the huge force that fell on him, and he was kicked out and fell to the ground sideways. Naruto did not miss this opportunity, and took advantage of the victory to throw another spiral shuriken at Tendo. When he was about to hit the opponent, the already defeated Hungry Ghost suddenly blocked Tendo and absorbed the spiral shuriken in an instant. Sure enough, he's resurrected again. What about the others? Did they recover as well? Although he knows that Naruto's Sage mode has a limited duration, he is indeed a little anxious. Knowing that he can only use the Rasen Shuriken twice, is it necessary to use the ultimate move at the first shot? Hasn't Tendo been suppressed by his physical skills? In this case, the battle can be resolved with a Rasengan or the Big Ball Rasengan. These two moves consume less energy than the Rasen Shuriken. It's not a good mentality to insist on using the ultimate move to defeat the enemy. There are obviously other ways. Naruto immediately recognized that this guy was the Hungry Ghost path that he had just defeated. He was wondering why he had regained his ability to move, and then he noticed the Hell path that summoned the King of Hell not far away. At this time, Naruto remembered that the sage Fukasaku was, as mentioned before, there is a Pine who has the ability to revive his companions, and this can be seen from their previous positions. After thinking this through, Naruto immediately realized that Hell Road must be dealt with first, so he rolled out a Rasengan with the cooperation of two shadow clones, and then threw a smoke bomb to cover his figure. Tendao was fully alert, and then saw a spiral shuriken rushing out of the smoke range and attacking them. Fortunately, it seems that only one person was resurrected. Sure enough, it's still the Naruto I'm familiar with. Even though he has become stronger, he always fails at critical moments. Isn't Naruto's performance good? He immediately took action after locking on the enemy he wanted to deal with, and it seems that he still needs to use some tactics. But that old toad had already exchanged information about Pain with Naruto before the battle. Even though he knew that the other side had a Pain who could revive others, Naruto didn't think of dealing with him first. He always had to suffer a loss before reacting. It's probably because he was irritated by Tendao. Maybe this is Tendao's strategy to make Naruto focus his attention on him. Hey, that ninjutsu absorbing Pine is blocking there. Why is Naruto still using the Rasen Shuriken? Generally, when such abnormal operations occur, it means there are other purposes. This is obviously a feint. In response, Hungry Ghost Road stretched out his hands calmly, ready to use the same trick to absorb the ninjutsu again, but unexpectedly, the Rasen Shuriken that was close at hand suddenly turned into Naruto's appearance. Caught off guard, Hungry Ghost Road was thrown to the ground. Even so, Naruto's attack was not over. Almost at the moment he threw Hungry Ghost Road, another Rasen Shuriken flew in right after it. It seemed that Tendao was about to be killed by it, but the attack collapsed directly when it hit Tendao's body. Chapter 436. The power has finally recovered. Tendao said calmly to Naruto in front of him, but Naruto was not discouraged at all. He stretched out his hand to cover the eyes of Hungry Ghost Path, and then another Naruto fell from the sky and hit Hell Path heavily on the back with Rasengan, knocking him to the ground. What a pity. It was just a little bit short. Not necessarily a little bit. If Tendao hadn't recovered, he might not have stood there and taken the attack. Is it true that Naruto only knows the Rasen Shuriken, a long-range attack ninjutsu, and he used it without thinking even though he knew it could only be used twice? It's not the first time I've seen Naruto squandering chakra. Even if he knows that Senjutsu chakra is limited, it will be difficult for him to correct this habit in a short time. Maybe he was just taking a gamble. It would be great if he could successfully defeat Tendao, but Naruto's main target is still the last Pine. Now the plan is not going smoothly. Done. Naruto's brain is back online now, and he came up with this interlocking plan in no time. Naruto's quick wit has always been on display, but most of the time it's covered up by his stupidity. What a familiar tactic. Kakashi touched his chin and said with emotion, and Sakura nodded in agreement. It's almost exactly the same as the battle with Zabuza. Ha. You have to have this kind of wild and unconstrained thinking. If you stick to the stereotypes too much, how can you be the son of prophecy who changes the world? Jiraiya laughed and slapped Naruto, almost knocking him off the carriage. Why, I'm in a bad mood now. Didn't you see what that guy named Pine did? Why are you still laughing? Naruto looked annoyed, and Jiraiya smiled indifferently. Relax a little, maybe the story on the sky is the original trajectory of fate, but for us now it is just a story. Of course, we can't deny that we can get some inspiration from it. If nothing else, I really want to hear what answer you will give to peace in the sky. That's why I'm in a bad mood. Naruto raised his hands and scratched his hair a few times. Why do you think I can solve this kind of thing? Everyone says that my brain is not very good, right? Everyone told you to relax. I want to hear the answer of the Uzumaki Naruto on the sky. It has nothing to do with you now. Jiraiya stretched out his hand to rub Naruto's hair. Naruto did not resist, and muttered unhappily, then why do you always say the name of the son of prophecy? Smiling lightly, Jiraiya looked up at the sky. As a master, I naturally have expectations from my disciples. What? Shiandeo's tone fluctuated rarely, but unfortunately this could not change the fact that Jagakudo was defeated. Naruto did not stop his offensive at this time, suppressing the two people from Jagakudo on Hungry Ghost Road, and punched Shiandeo and Hungry Ghost Road respectively, but unfortunately he was knocked away by Shiandeo's Shinra Tensei before he was about to hit. In order to buy Naruto some time to recover, Gamabunta, Gamaki and Gamahiro attacked Tendo at the same time. Naruto adjusted his breathing while discussing combat intelligence with Slug and Fukasaku. The final result was similar to the previous one. With only 5 seconds between Tendo's attacks and little effect from ninjutsu and taijutsu, Fukasaku once again proposed that they use illusion to control pain. We've dealt with that Pine. Now there are only 2 left. But Tendo has recovered his power, so there's still a fight ahead. 5 seconds. With such a strong power and such a short time interval, there are only a few people in the entire ninja world who can seize this gap. Pine has suffered from a genjutsu before. Will he fall for it again this time? I always feel that something unexpected will happen. As long as Pine reflects on it a little, he will definitely have a countermeasure. At this time, Tendo, whose power cooldown time has ended, leaped high into the middle of the 3 toads, and then used a powerful Shinra Tensei to directly bounce them away. Bunta was even knocked far out of Konoha village. In the ruins around the village, more and more Konoha ninjas who had recovered turned their attention to the center of the battlefield where there was constant movement. From the slug's narration, they learned that this was Naruto fighting the enemy. Some people who wanted to help were stopped by the slug, who said that Naruto wanted to deal with Pine alone. Hinata, who was also paying attention to the battlefield, could not stay there with a clear conscience. She wanted to rush to he tried to help the front line, but finally stopped under the persuasion of the Hyuga branch guards. Hinata was very unwilling to accept his statement that it might hinder Naruto. Size is meaningless in front of the heavenly Deo. It can be easily beaten away. Those who still hope to hit the upper limit of Shinra Tensei's endurance, compare the difference between their output and that of the Toad. If these ninjas who were pushed to the edge of Konoha were not protected by Tsunade, most of them would have been lying down now. No one really went to help. Let's not talk about whether it is a burden or not, at least get a little closer to the battlefield, so that if Naruto fails, at least they can provide some help, and they won't just leave all the burden to Naruto alone. At this time, in the convoy where the 8th team was performing another escort mission, Hinata clasped her hands against her chest, looking at her performance on the sky with both worry and frustration. I can't do anything, can I just keep looking at Naruto come like that, unable to care about the 3 giant toads that were blown away for the time being? Naruto tried to control his anger and listened to Fukasaku Sage's description of the illusion that he was going to perform next. After sorting out Fukasaku Sage's words, Naruto said that he would use the 5-second gap to coordinate with him to launch an attack, but Fukasaku Sage said with some concern, "It's just that, little Naruto, you only have 1 shadow clone left to produce Senjutsu chakra. If that one is gone, you won't be able to stay still and produce Senjutsu chakra in battle, and your Sage mode can only last for 5 minutes at most." At this time, Shima Sage raised a question, asking why he didn't prepare more shadow clones to produce Senjutsu chakra. Chapter 437. The answer given by Fukasaku Sage is that 2 shadow clones are the limit, and even for this reason, the number of shadow clones created by Naruto cannot exceed 3, otherwise it will affect the shadow clones on the Meiboku mountainside. 1 shadow clone can only keep Naruto in Sage mode for 5 minutes, and the shadow clones are limited to 2. That is to say, even if Naruto is fully prepared, he can only maintain Sage mode for 15 minutes at most, and the time will be shorter after releasing ninjutsu. If you don't fight according to the time, it will really not work. You have to pay attention to the time, but the more important thing is to pay attention to the distribution of chakra. There is no need to pin all your hopes on the Rasen Shuriken. Like the beginning of the battle, you can still defeat the enemy with a frog kumite. The consumption of the Rasen Shuriken is very large. But it cannot be denied that as long as the opponent is hit, he will definitely be able to knock him down. Naruto's tactics are not without merit. Looking at the 4 peons who were knocked to the ground, Shyandao stepped forward and said in a calm voice, "You are indeed very strong. You are the first person who can force Pine to this point, but that's it." Cheyenne of all things. As soon as Naruto made a defensive move, a strong suction came from Shyandao's hand. Naruto was sucked over without any resistance. He was captured alive by the Hungry Ghost Way with his hands tied up. Looking at Naruto, who was locked in the neck by the Hungry Ghost Path, Tendao said in a low voice, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. After all, you are an important Jinchuuriki. HMPH. Is that all? Don't underestimate the Sage mode. This kind of restrained, look at me." Naruto opened his mouth confidently, but in an instant he realized something and his face changed immediately. How could it be? I can't use my strength? Did this guy suck away my Sage chakra? Looking at the fading Sage mask on Naruto's face, Shyandao announced expressionlessly, "The Nine Tails has been captured, just like that mind-reading soul-sucking Pine. Once caught, you can only surrender. Alice, it's already difficult to deal with, but the opponent has this characteristic that restricts the use of physical skills, which simply leaves ordinary ninjas like us no way to survive. If no one takes the lead, it's impossible to defeat Pine even if human lives are piled up." This performance of surpassing the 5 major ninja villages with one person's strength is not even comparable to the first-generation Hokage, who is called the god of ninja. Hell, kids nowadays are getting better and better at telling jokes. They even dare to touch Hashirama Senju. Do you know what the title of ninja god means? That was only the ninja god before the Rinnegan appeared. Although all countries are boasting about the legend of the first Hokage, no one can explain what he did. The only example so far is that Kakuzu once assassinated him. He couldn't even deal with a Kakuzu. How can people believe that his title has gold content? Even a Kakuzu. Kakuzu almost cried in the toilet when he saw it. He can also compete with a Kage in terms of combat power. Although it sounds a bit awkward, Kakuzu's strength is indeed a bit behind Pine. If we use him as a standard to evaluate the strength of the first Hokage, it is indeed difficult to determine whether his strength has surpassed Pine. Kakuzu, who was originally looking through the bounty list, retracted the tentacles from the attacker's chest. After seeing the ridicule on the screen, he snorted coldly with a dark face, which made Hiden, who had also finished the battle, grin. "Ho-ha-ho-ha, Kakuzu, you have become a reference for those guys to evaluate their strength. Do you want to go to the black market and make a statement or something, explaining the process of assassinating the first Hokage? If you want to die, just say it, and I will fulfill your wish immediately. It's not over yet," Naruto said weakly. Hungry Ghost Road unceremoniously increased the absorption strength. Naruto smiled slightly when he came to his senses, "So that's how it is. I understand. Since I can't move, that's just right." Naruto stopped moving completely and focused all his energy on absorbing natural energy. The immortal mask on his face quickly appeared and disappeared again. Just when Shyandao thought he had completely given up resistance, Hungry Ghost Road's body suddenly turned into toad. Natural energy is not something that is so easy to control, Naruto said to Shyandao with a smug look on his face. After Hungry Ghost Road's body was petrified, he broke free with a little effort and watched the whole process. Tendao gave his own opinion. Senjutsu chakra. It seems that there are certain risks. Is this the risk of Sage mode that someone mentioned before? If you can't control the natural energy, you will turn into a stone statue. It will turn into a toadstone statue. It seems that Jiraiya's Sage mode is definitely incomplete. It's not that the more you look like a toad, the better. From this point of view, Naruto is much stronger than Jiraiya in the talent of practicing senjutsu. He is only a teenager, but he has surpassed Jiraiya by decades. Using risk as a weapon, Naruto can use the same trick when he encounters an enemy with the ability to absorb chakra in the future. Naruto has encountered so many opponents of this type so far. Unfortunately, Naruto hadn't learned the Sage Mode at that time, otherwise what happened to Pain would have happened to them first. Naruto knelt on the ground exhausted, panting as he looked at Tendo and said, "Now you're the only one left." You're not quite right. Tendo responded in a flat voice. Naruto didn't understand what he meant. The slug on his shoulder immediately explained, "These Pains are just puppets controlled by others. There should be a real person controlling them in the dark." At this time, Fukasaku and Shima were ready to perform illusions. Pain, who had suffered a loss once, naturally would not let the other party act. Waxing Shianine directly took action and sucked the unprepared Fukasaku over, and the black stick in his other hand pierced his body mercilessly. "I told you, how could Pain allow those two toads to perform illusions while waiting here? Jiraiya performed the illusion at a distance last time, but here he performed it openly, really thinking that his opponent was blind." Chapter 438. Maybe he was counting on Naruto to hold him off. Naruto, who was unable to rescue him, fell to the ground in a mess. Looking at the already breathless Fukasaku, Naruto angrily swung his fist at Tendo, but after Tendo threw Fukasaku away, he quickly changed his position and hugged Fukasaku. Taking advantage of Naruto's temporary pause in his attack, Tendo once again used the Tensei Tenjin to suck Naruto in, grabbed his neck fiercely and slammed him into the ground, then twisted his arms and pierced through Naruto's palms with a black stick, pinning him to the ground. You should be more honest now, Ninetales, Tendo said in a low voice, half squatting in front of Naruto. Hiss. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. I remember that the black stick seemed to have the effect of disrupting chakra, which means that the only one who can move on the field now is the female toad. So we can't rely on Naruto to deal with the enemy alone. If there are other companions now, they may be able to help Naruto break free as soon as possible. Naruto endured the pain in his hand and roared in a hoarse voice, "Who are you? Who are you? Why do you do this? You ask me why. Things always happen suddenly, and the reasons are only given later." After a pause, Shiandao continued, "In this case, even if I tell you the reason, nothing will change, but why not tell you a little bit? My goal is to complete my own the unfinished wish of Mr. Kureha." Shiandao ignored Naruto's angry eyes and said to himself, "I just said it, it is to breed peace and achieve justice." Peace. Justice. What a joke. What a joke. Naruto's voice gradually rose, and he couldn't stop venting his anger towards Shiandao. "You have made my master, my teacher, my companions, my village. You are here talking about peace!" Exclamation mark. Naruto can't beat him, so he wants to convince the enemy with his eloquence? But in this situation, the possibility of convincing the enemy is very small. This position feels more like Shiandao is trying to convince Naruto, because it is Naruto who is being knocked to the ground now, right? Can he persuade Naruto to accept his ideals and sacrifice himself? As long as Naruto still has the will to live, it is useless for Pain to talk to him. It is better to capture him as soon as possible to avoid any accidents. Because Naruto has a special identity. As a person entrusted with the future by Jiraiya, Nagato, the disciple, naturally wants to use it to prove that Jiraiya's ideals are wrong. After all, Nagato has taken a different path from Jiraiya. Tendo stared at Naruto expressionlessly for a moment, and then asked, "So what do you think?" "I want to defeat you. I want to bring true peace to this ninja world." Naruto answered decisively, to which Tendo gently responded, "Really? That's really a great thing. Is this your justice? But, take my family, my companions, my village, you Konoha ninjas who have ravaged Konoha like it is now, how can others agree with the justice you preach?" Shiandao's tone was always calm, but what he said made Naruto's face change slightly, and he subconsciously asked back, "What do you mean?" In addition to Yahiko, there are other inside stories. Did Nagato's family also die at the hands of Konoha? If that's the case, it's not difficult to understand why he did this in Konoha. Putting aside those big principles, this is simply a thorough revenge action. Nagato was a civilian in the Hidden Rain village before he met Jiraiya, so his family was probably ordinary civilians. What's wrong with the Konoha ninjas to attack them? Battlefield, do you know what this word means? Even ninjas may die at any time, not to mention the civilians living there. As long as a battle breaks out near them, a random attack aftermath can kill a large number of ordinary people. Otherwise, where do you think those orphans come from? How many people are secretly holding back their efforts to take revenge on Konoha, the unlucky Konoha? It feels that so far, all the enemies who have appeared on the sky have basically had some ideas about Konoha. The only difference is whether Konoha is the main target of revenge or a secondary target in the process of conquering the ninja world. Tirandeo said, "The Land of Fire and Konoha are both too powerful. In order to protect national interests, it is necessary to obtain benefits through wars between big countries, otherwise, the country and the people in the village will starve. However, it is our small countries and villages that have become battlefields between big countries. Every time a war is launched, our country will be devastated. After several wars, the big countries have become stable, but they have left us small countries with endless pain." Naruto was speechless. For a moment, he did not dare to look at Tendo's face. Tendo ignored his state and continued, "What you and I expect is the same thing. We both want to achieve the peace that Jiraiya teacher said. There is no difference between you and me. We act for our own justice." I am really speechless. When did our Konoha need to rely on war to obtain benefits? Obviously, as long as we develop normally, we can live well. As a result, just because we counterattack the Hidden Rain village, the shitpot will be put on our heads. Tisk. Before the war started, you can say that it has nothing to do with you, but after the war started, don't lick your face and say that you are innocent. No matter who started the war, I only know that it was because of the war between Konoha and Iwagakure that our village was destroyed, and my two brothers and I became wandering ninjas by chance, living a precarious life in the ninja world. Stop arguing. It's hard to tell right from wrong in war. Now it depends on how Naruto refutes it, but judging from his expression, it's a bit suspenseful. Is Naruto going to be convinced? It turns out that whoever has the bigger fist is right. Whether he is restrained or not, Naruto can't refute it here, because his current thoughts are indeed the same as Pine's. His views on peace are completely untenable. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439. The justice I have implemented for Konoha is exactly the same as what you want to do to me. The pain of losing something important is the same for everyone. You and I both understand this pain. You are doing it for your justice, and I am doing it for mine. We are actually ordinary people who are taking revenge in the name of justice. If revenge is given the name of justice, then this justice will inevitably breed more hatred, and hatred will never end. We are in this torrent at this moment, understanding the past and predicting the future. These are history. We have to admit that humans are creatures that absolutely cannot understand each other. The world of ninjas is dominated by hatred. Hey, Pine knows that he is taking revenge. I thought he would cling to the reason that he is creating peace, because revenge does not conflict with his plan to create peace. After all, his approach is to bring pain to others, and he even thinks it's not strong enough. Oh no, I suddenly feel that what Pine said seems to make sense. Although the ideas of Jiraiya and Naruto are good, if you think about it carefully, you will know how unrealistic they are. Just because his view of the world is correct does not mean that his plan to create peace is correct. Relying on increasing the pain of each other to promote peace, even if you don't think about the causal logic, you know that this thing will never work. Even our small country that has suffered from war will not support this behavior. Naruto gritted his teeth and looked gloomy. He couldn't help but think of what he had said when he was traveling with Jiraiya. But even I know that this ninja world is full of hatred. Jiraiya scratched his head and said to Naruto, although I want to solve this hatred, I don't know how to do it. But one day, the era when people truly understand each other will surely come. I firmly believe this. It feels so complicated. Naruto responded with a silly smile, and Jiraiya joked, if I can't find the answer, I will entrust this answer to you. Yes, since it is the entrustment of the lecherous sage, I can only accept it. Naruto saluted and replied in a serious manner, but in fact, he didn't take it too seriously. Jiraiya also knows that this world is full of hatred, but because of the prophecy, he has been holding on to the dream that humans can understand each other. Should I say he's ridiculous or pathetic? Isn't that what idealists are like? But Jiraiya didn't expect that there would be a realist among his disciples who sneered at his idea of placing hope in the future. Leave hope to the future, to the successor, to the descendants. Although everything is possible, this idea is really too unrealistic. Like Nagato's plan, most people can't accept it. Only someone with Naruto's personality can inherit Jiraiya's legacy. Naruto didn't really take Jiraiya's words seriously. I guess he didn't even understand what he was saying. He just didn't expect that Pain would give him such a vivid example later. Time goes back to the present. Naruto's expression becomes more and more ugly. At this time, Shyandao asks condescendingly, "If it were you, how would you face these hatreds for the sake of peace? Let me hear your answer." Naruto looks frustrated and gives his answer with difficulty, "I don't know about this kind of thing." Shyandao was not surprised that Naruto would give such an answer. After a moment of silence, he continued to speak his mind. "I founded Akatsuki to stop this chain of hatred. I think I can do it. To do this, we need the power of the Nine Tails. We need to use the power of all the tailed beasts to create tailed beast weapons that are dozens of times stronger than the power that destroyed this village. It is so powerful that it can destroy a country in an instant." Well, Naruto was really convinced in reverse. There is no way to give an answer. It will be too ugly if you make a fuss. This matter is unrealistic. It is impossible to expect a 10-tailed beast to be defeated. A kid of a few years old gave a plan for peace. Can the title of the Child of Prophecy help Naruto get the answer? This. With his spirits down, can Naruto still have the will to fight? In this situation, he can't even transform into a tailed beast. There's no way. His own position conflicts with a dream entrusted to him by Jiraiya. From Konoha's perspective, Naruto must retaliate against Pain who hurt Konoha, but if he wants to realize Jiraiya's dream, he must understand and accept Pain, not to mention that Konoha hurt him first, so it's not surprising that he would show such an expression. With this frustrated look, how did he convince Nagato to betray Asahi later? I am really getting more and more curious. Jiraiya looked at Naruto, who was sitting at the front of the car with a gloomy face, and sighed softly. You are still too young to answer such questions. Although coercion and crisis can accelerate growth, you should try to help him share some of the burden. After all, his current environment is different from that on the sky, and too many people have placed their expectations on him. Naruto did feel the responsibility and pressure brought by the increasing expectations around him, just as Jiraiya thought. Before this, Naruto actually didn't take it seriously, and even felt a little proud, because it meant that more and more people trusted and recognized him. However, when Pain asked a question that he couldn't answer on the sky, Naruto realized that Jiraiya, what kind of path do you want him to inherit? Peace is not something that can be obtained by resolving the hatred of one or two people. The complex conflicts of interest between villages and countries are not something Naruto can understand at his age. After all, in order to resolve the dispute caused by Sasuke, he was beaten by Karu and knelt down to the wreckage. In the end, he even had to hold the mentality of dying together to be sure to withstand Sasuke's hatred for Konoha. In this case, how dare Naruto pat his chest and say that he can do it? This idea shocked Naruto, and Shyandao continued, let the world experience real pain. The fear of pain can prevent war and lead the world to a stable and peaceful world. But this kind of peace is just a lie. Naruto immediately refuted. Humans are not such smart creatures. If you don't do this, you can't create peace. Chapter 440. Shyandao responded firmly, even if this pain will slowly heal after decades, the inhibition will decrease, and the countries will start disputes again, then they will use the tailed beast weapons themselves and confirm the true pain again. Look, even Naruto, who has nothing to say when asked, will still oppose Pain's extreme plan. After all, it is a plan that will destroy the world if you are not careful. Normal people will oppose it. What's the point of Pain's peace? There will be a war every few decades, and then enter a short peace. Is there any difference with the development of the ninja world now? There is a difference. The damage caused will be greater than any war in the past. Don't expect the war to stop without destroying one or two countries. Don't forget it was Pain himself who said that it would take decades, but the reason for the outbreak of war is simply unpredictable, otherwise the Third World War would not have broken out just a few years after the end of the Second World War. So Nagato, have you seen this? Through everyone's analysis, do you know how outrageous your plan is? Can you just give up and wait for the real child of prophecy to create peace? Creating peace. The problem is that Naruto himself doesn't know how to do it. It's better than Nagato's plan. I don't want my country to be destroyed inexplicably one day. Nagato, who was recuperating, looked at the sky with an expressionless face. He admitted that his past plans did have some omissions, but it was absolutely impossible for him to entrust the ideal of creating peace to Naruto. Handing the initiative to others, Yohiko's experience is a lesson learned from the past. Moreover, Nagato did not think that Naruto's ideal was feasible, and it was more reliable to complete everything by himself. The scene changes to dark space. Nagato, whose lower body is fixed in a mechanical device and whose upper body is naked with jagged ribs exposed, continues to express his thoughts after hearing what Tendo said. Then, there will be a temporary peace. In this endless river of hatred, a short peace born from pain, this is my wish. Suddenly, Nagato coughs violently, causing Konan, who is watching over him, to look worried. Nagato, don't force yourself. You've used too much chakra. His chest rises and falls rapidly, and blood flows from the corner of Nagato's mouth. However, he doesn't care and looks forward with a firm look. Peace is just around the corner. Is this Nagato? Why does he look so sick? What happened? It seems that there is something wrong with the main body. After defeating Tendao, it may not be necessary to spend much effort to deal with him. It seems that the Samsara has no healing ability. That pain who has the ability to repair, can't his ability be used on diseases? The scene changes again. The young Naruto shouts loudly about his dream of becoming a Hokage in the undisguised disgust of pedestrians on the street. This scene happens to be seen by Hinata, who is also young and is led by the guards. The scene returns to the present. Hinata purses her lips and looks at Naruto, who has been restrained in the center of the battlefield. She tightens her clothes on her chest and makes a decision. In the center of the battlefield, Tendo continued to say to Naruto, although you said that my peace is fake, in this cursed world, there is nothing more fake than the peace of true mutual understanding between people. This conclusion reminded Naruto of the dream that Jiraiya firmly believed in, so he had the courage to fight again, and looked up at Tendo. Sexy immortal believes that there will be such a day, and you are the one who is wrong. Well, what does this sudden picture of Naruto's childhood mean? It's not obvious. It's obvious what Hinata is going to do next. After all, she has been watching, and we can't just watch. I think Jiraiya's dream is Naruto's only lifeline. If he doesn't hold on to it, he might have to follow Pine back. Believe, believe, believe. Are you too obsessed with this word? You can't get everything in this world just by believing. But you can't deny that those who have made great achievements all started with belief. They believe that this thing can be done and that they can succeed. From this point of view, there is nothing wrong with Jiraiya's dream entrusted to Naruto. But here, if you use it to refute Pine, the momentum is a bit weak, especially since Naruto was just speechless when asked. It's just talk. What can you do if you can't give an answer? What you can do is to hand over the power of the Nine Tails. I should have said that your death can bring peace. After saying that, Tendao stabbed 6 black sticks into Naruto's shoulders, waist and legs without mercy, completely controlling him. Faced with this total defeat, the sad Shima Sennin shouted angrily, "Come on, kid. No matter what this guy says, you can't believe it easily. You are the son of prophecy and the savior of this world." Jiraiya, the brat, and the old man all believe it and even risked their lives for it. So I will never allow you to lose. If you die here, I will never forgive you. Tendao raised his hand and directly knocked Shima Sage out. He ignored Naruto's anger and prepared to take him back to the Hidden Rain village. Naruto should just put aside the idea of mutual understanding and seeking justice for Konoha. Empty your mind and work hard for your own life. Only in this way can you exert all your strength. If you think like this, then dreams and positions become meaningless. Anyway, they are things that can be forgotten at the critical moment. This old toad is forcing people. Not to mention that Naruto has completely lost the will to fight now. Even if he still has the will to fight, at least help him get rid of the restraints first. Just when Tendao stretched out his hand to Naruto, Hinata suddenly jumped out from his sight and hit him hard. Tendao reacted instantly and retreated to avoid Hinata's attack. Reinforcement. Don't even think about hurting Naruto again. Hinata stood in front of Naruto with a stern face, but Naruto didn't want to see this scene. Why did you come out? Run away, you are no match for that guy. Chapter 441. This is my own decision, Hinata answered lightly. Seeing her serious look, Naruto couldn't help but yelled loudly, "What are you talking about? How can you run to such a dangerous place?" Naruto is still trying to show off at this time. How much does he want to deal with Pain alone? It's mainly because it's too dangerous. Even he can't beat the enemy. Isn't it just suicide to let others come, if his companions need to sacrifice to help him? I think Naruto might prefer to be captured by Pain. It seems that Hinata's appearance here, this is the opportunity to reverse the situation, otherwise I really don't see Naruto's chance of winning. I don't think she has any chance of rescuing Naruto. Is Tendao just a decoration? What's more, a physical ninja like Hyuga is almost completely defeated by the opponent's ability. After a moment of silence, Hinata mustered up the courage to speak out her thoughts for the first time. I came here of my own will, and this time I want to help Naruto. I only know how to cry and give up from the beginning. I almost went astray several times. I was like this, and it was Naruto who brought me back to the right path. Hinata said while as he said this, he opened his Byakugan and prepared for battle. I always chase after Naruto, want to catch up with Naruto, always want to walk side by side with Naruto, always want to stay by Naruto's side. It was Naruto who changed me, it was Naruto's smile that saved me, so if it's to protect Naruto, I won't even be afraid of death. Because I like Naruto the most. It turns out to be like this. Confession on the battlefield. Although this form of confession has a high success rate, there are very few examples of confessors having a good ending. Basically, they all died in battle after confessing. So it's going to be Hinata's sacrifice that will turn the tables. I don't have to think about what will happen next. Tisk, can't you think of something good? I hate this kind of separation. This feeling is really heavy. Naruto is still as popular as ever. This is the first girl to express her affection for him. Obviously, Sasuke is the most popular in school, and no girl is willing to play with Naruto. As the person involved, Hinata, after seeing this heartfelt confession on the sky, unexpectedly did not faint. Although her face was flushed, she looked at a brave self in the sky with longing, envious of her courage to tell Naruto her inner feelings. Hong beside her held Hinata in her arms with pity, blessing her feelings, and worried about her future experience in the sky, because no matter how you look at it, Hinata has no reason to survive the enemy. Kiba, who couldn't hide his emotions, also thought of this and immediately looked annoyed. Damn it. What am I doing on the sky, just watching there all the time? And why is Naruto trying so hard? If he can't deal with the enemy, just say it directly, everyone will definitely help. Now Hinata has to risk her life to save him. Let's not talk about what happened on the sky, Kiba, that's Hinata's own choice. We bystanders, don't get involved and express any opinions. Shino pushed his glasses and reminded faintly. Kiba only noticed Hinata's condition at this time, but still snorted unhappily, HMPH. Even if it was Hinata's own choice, it is an indisputable fact that Hinata is in danger because of Naruto. When that guy returns to the village, I will definitely kill him hard. In the land of demons, SHEM bit the nail of her thumb, feeling irritable. She admired Hinata's bravery, but felt a crisis because of her undisguised confession. No. I have to go to Konoha as soon as possible to ask that unromantic Jinan what he is thinking. There is no reason for me, the leader of a country, to be kept in suspense by that guy. Thinking of this, SHEN was anxious to go out to find Ashio to arrange the itinerary. As soon as she went out, she saw the guards arranged by Iwagakure and Sandagakure chatting at the door downstairs. Yes, these guys are still studying the power of the monsters. I can't leave now. SHEN covered her forehead and raised her head with a headache. Let's issue a task to Konoha and let that guy come to see me. Yes, that's right, that's what we should do. In Konoha Commercial Street, Yuliu, who was temporarily placed in Konoha, was bored in a meatball shop, eating meatballs while looking at the sky. This time I said it directly, that guy should understand the girl's feelings. If there is no reaction, I will doubt whether that guy's playing dumb. Yuliu did not care about it. Compared with SHEN, who was immersed in the experience of Shenmue, she had complicated feelings for Naruto at this time. She was grateful for him for exposing the true face of Shannon, but also blamed him for destroying her dream, and of course she also had a little girl's appreciation. As for when this feeling will turn into love, in the absence of time to spend together, it will probably continue in this state for a long time. As the party who was confessed, Naruto, who was completely immersed in the story, naturally equated Hinata's love with his love for his companions in the dangerous environment of Shiamu. He was full of worries about her and complaints about himself lying there helplessly. This made Sakura, who had been paying attention to his expression, feel that Hinata's efforts were not worth it. How can this guy detect Hinata's feelings for him? Love. The girl's confession ended, and she started the fight at the risk of her life. Looking at Hinata, who was in a soft fist position, Tendo did not directly kill her. Hinata also seized this opportunity, twisted her body and kicked off a black stick on Naruto, and then when she was about to attack the second one, Tendo raised his hand and knocked her out. Hinata, who had received information from the slug, knew Tendo's ability, but she had no intention of giving up. She quickly stood up and continued to rush towards Naruto, but it was obvious that this kind of clear-minded charge could not escape Tendo's obstruction, and Hinata was easily knocked out again. This time, Hinata's speed of getting up again slowed down, and blood flowed from her forehead and mouth. Looking at Tendo, who was already blocking Naruto, Hinata gritted her teeth and stood up again. There is no way to get close to Naruto, I must think of a way. Chapter 442. This is a fight for life. The Hyuga clan does not have the ability to attack from a distance. The farthest attack is only short to medium distance, but their most powerful is their close combat. If they don't fight hard, they don't even deserve to appear on this battlefield. Tiandeo actually held back. I thought he would kill Hinata directly, whether Hinata is dead or not. She appeared after this time point anyway, so there is no point in discussing this. When did she appear? Why can't I remember? When Meru and the others decided to deal with Sasuke themselves, didn't they gather together with a group of people who sympathized with him to discuss it? Hinata gathered her fists at her waist, and blue chakra enveloped her arms and transformed them into the shape of a lion, soft step double lion fist. With a light shout, Hinata regrouped and rushed forward to attack Tendo, but there was a clear gap in strength between the two sides. Hinata's entire set of combos was easily avoided by Tendo, until Nagato, who was controlling the situation behind the scenes, had a slight omission due to physical reasons, and was finally hit by Hinata's palm strike. Hinata did not miss this opportunity, turned around and rushed towards Naruto to break the second black stick on his body, but when she attacked the next one, Nagato reacted and knocked her out again. Naruto's pupils shrank sharply, and he looked at Hinata, who was high into the air and fell heavily, and shouted heartbreakingly, "Hinata!" Nagato's body can't hold on, so he fought with Hinata here. Even so, Hinata is still no match. The gap is too obvious. Defeating Tendo is not the goal, she just wants to rescue Naruto. Hyuga House, Courtyard Corridor. Hanabi, who is accompanying Hyuga Hayashi, looked at the sky with shining eyes. Sister is so powerful, but she still can't do anything to the opponent. What a pity. Hyuga Hayashi did not express any opinions, straightened his back and knelt on the ground, looking at Hinata's fighting figure on the sky, thinking with a gloomy face. In order to protect Uzumaki Naruto, can you become so brave? As a father, I appreciate this, but it is not the performance of a qualified heir to the main family. Perhaps, it is right for you to give up the position of inheriting the main family. The scene returns to the past again. Young Naruto is about to save Hinata from the hands of several children who are bullying her, but because of his lack of strength, he is taught a lesson by the other party. It was not until Hinata's guards arrived that the farce was stopped. Although she saw Naruto's unbearable side, young Hinata remembered his figure firmly in her heart. In such memories, Hinata slowly opened her eyes at Naruto's shouting. Hinata stood up with her limbs shaking, then staggered towards Naruto, and then fell down again one step away from him. Naruto closed his eyes reluctantly and tried weakly to stop Hinata's actions. The worse Hinata is, the more powerful Naruto will be. That's too much? It's like Hinata is the switch that starts Naruto's explosion. It's mainly because of the right emotions. Plus the buff of the battlefield confession, Naruto would be sorry for Hinata's efforts if he doesn't explode. However, even so, Hinata still didn't give up. She dragged her seriously injured body to Naruto with both hands and reached out to hold the black stick that pierced his palms. Looking up at Naruto's trembling pupils, Hinata chuckled and said, "Do what you say and move forward bravely, because this is my ninja way." At this time, Shiandeo no longer had the interest to continue watching. He directly bounced Hinata into the sky through the air, and then slammed her down heavily. Then, with Naruto's eyes squinting, the black stick in his hand pierced Hinata's body mercilessly. There have been such scenes before. My parents were killed in front of me by you Konoha ninjas. Shiondeo looked at Naruto expressionlessly and said in a cold tone, "It is because of love that there are sacrifices, hatred, and pain." Hinata's last words are a killer. It's not enough to die in front of him. In the end, you use Naruto's ninja way to stimulate him. It's just stepping on Naruto's emotional explosion point. Oh my god, I thought Naruto's experience was miserable enough, but I didn't expect Nagato to have experienced it a long time ago. It seems that he still has the upper hands in the current ideological dispute. No, what's wrong with you Konoha ninjas? Why did you kill the civilians of the Hidden Rain village? I thought Nagato's family died in the aftermath of the war. I didn't expect that Konoha would take action. In this way, even if we don't talk about peace, Nagato's reason to want to attack Konoha is sufficient. Naruto widened his eyes and stared at what happened on the sky with a blank expression. Not only because of Hinata's death in the war, but also because of the fact that Nagato's parents died at the hands of Konoha. Now, let alone convincing himself to understand and forgive Nagato, how to convince the other party to forgive everything Konoha did is the problem. Isn't it the same as what happened to Sasuke? Am I going to die with the other party again? What about Sasuke? Jiraiya was also surprised by Nagato's statement. He didn't expect that such a thing had happened to Nagato before he met him. No wonder Jiraiya could vaguely feel his rejection of him when he first lived with him. If that child has always hated Konoha, I couldn't have noticed it in those 3 years of getting along. I can't feel it, so I can be sure that when I left, Nagato's knot should have been untied for the most part, so what happened afterwards made Nagato maintain hostile thoughts towards Konoha. However, Naruto could no longer listen to what Tendao said at this time. He stared blankly at Hinata, who was lying on the ground and whose life was uncertain. With a heavy heartbeat, Naruto's eyes were instantly dyed red, and dark red chakra suddenly erupted from his body. The chakra beam that rushed into the sky was reflected in the eyes of the crowd watching the battle around him. Do you hate me? Tendao looked at Naruto, who was covered with a dark red-tailed beast coat, possessed by a white skeleton armor, and had 6 tails behind him, and asked sarcastically, "Do you still think that people can truly understand each other?" Chapter 443. Naruto, who has been completely dominated by his animal instinct, naturally won't answer his question, and Tendao doesn't care about it. That's fine, but my pain is greater than yours. Wow. 6 tails. When Naruto had 4 tails before, he relied on Jiraiya's spell to recover. What should we do this time? Wait until he uses up all his strength? I'm afraid the 9 tails will take the opportunity to seize his body. No, it will definitely take action. After all, there is no better time than Naruto's current state. Pine is so sarcastic. The crazier Naruto behaves, the more it shows that his childish ideas are worthless. Maybe this is why Tendao has been so slow to catch Naruto back. His reason. Not only do you want to defeat Naruto physically, but you also want to defeat his ideals. It can be seen that Nagato has a lot of opinions about Jiraiya's idea. As expected, Nagato looked coldly at Naruto, who had transformed into a small-tailed beast in the sky, and said in a tone without any fluctuation, "That kind of childish idea cannot support the ideal of peace. It's just a beautiful dream that Jiraiya teacher has woven for you. When you wake up from the dream, you will naturally collapse because of the cruel reality, Naruto." That being said, judging from the content revealed by the sky several times before, he will eventually be convinced by Naruto. Nagato is really curious about this. What great truths can this collapsed Naruto come up with to convince him next? Tendao roared and punched the ground heavily. The weight of the punch even knocked out the groundwater. Just as Tendao was about to attack Naruto, a burst of white light suddenly appeared in the necklace on Naruto's neck, and the materialized green chakra turned into ropes to tie up Naruto's body. Tendao saw that this was a technique to seal the power of the tailed beast, so the 9 tails power, unwilling to be suppressed, controlled Naruto's body and directly pulled out the necklace, and then crushed it. The 9 tails power, which had completely broken free from the restrictions, was driven by Naruto's anger and attacked Tendao without saying a word. Looking at Naruto who came in front of him in an instant, Tendao raised his hand and used Shinra Tensei, and the technique that could originally deflect all attacks was actually endured by Naruto's huge strength, and even bounced Tendao away in return. It can be seen that Nagato is also very excited. Even the puppet being controlled can see such obvious emotions. Hey. Isn't this the necklace Tsunade gave to Naruto? It can actually suppress the power of the tailed beasts, it can be seen that it is just some kind of emergency insurance. After all, if it can't even withstand the power of the six tails, don't expect to really limit the power of the nine-tailed beast. It actually broke through the Shinra Tensei of Tendao. Maybe it's because the output is reduced due to excessive consumption, but from this point, it can be seen that the power to break the upper limit of this move is not exaggerated to the point of being impossible to achieve. Some explosive power is strong enough, moves should be able to do it. You also need to be strong enough to withstand the force exerted by the opponent. Under such conditions, the first person that comes to mind is the third Raikage. Other Jinchuriki should also be able to replicate this operation, provided that Pine can also become the current state, otherwise the outcome is still uncertain. Looking at Tendo, who was pulling away, Naruto did not hold back at all, opened his mouth to the sky and began to condense the tailed beast ball, but before he was about to launch it, he was hit head-on by a huge rock attracted by Tendo with a Tensei, detonating it in advance. The strong explosion blasted out a hemispherical energy shield. Fortunately, Naruto was protected by the tailed beast cloth, and Tendo also survived with the help of Shinra Tensei, but he was covered in dirt, and half of his clothes and forward protector were blown away to who knows where. The power of the nine tails is truly amazing. Tendo sighed softly, then turned and walked away. Naruto quickly set off and followed him. Controlling Tendo to lead Naruto to a forest, Nagato said seriously, "This distance should be enough." Chibaku Tensei. So strong. Such a violent explosion, both of them actually withstood it without any injuries. There are actually new moves. How many cards does Nagato have hidden? It feels like the information Jiraiya has found out may only account for 20% of Pine, and the remaining 50% is on Tendo. Tendo put his hands together, opened them, and condensed a black chakra ball in his palms, and then shot the chakra ball into the sky. After completing this action after the operation, Tendo left the place without saying a word, while Naruto, who followed closely behind, was sucked into the sky by a large amount of gravel and trees as the black ball expanded. In the dark, Nagato tensed his nerves and tried his best to maintain the activation of the technique. Even if blood kept flowing out of his nose and mouth, he had no intention of stopping at all. Naruto, who couldn't break free from the suction, tried his best to spray chakra cannons at the stones that kept pressing in from all around, but he was still unable to do it. In the increasingly strong suction, Naruto was firmly pressed inside the fully formed stone ball. Hiss. What the hell is this? The degree of destruction is comparable to the previous move of Shinra Tensei that covered the entire Konoha. A meteorite was created out of thin air. My god. If this move were to happen in our Kumagakure, wouldn't it hollow out the mountains in our village? Damn, Nagato can use this move when he looks sick and like he's about to die. If he was in good health, it would be terrible. I'm more curious about how he became like this. How much suffering did he have to endure? What will Naruto do next? Even the power of the tailed beast has been suppressed head-on. Continue the tailed beast, it's okay. In the middle stage, the nine tails can be released intact. I think it's impossible that Nagato has not considered this. Since he is confident that he and Konan can capture the nine tails, he should have prepared measures to deal with it. In this way, a huge stone ball that hollowed out several surrounding hills was suspended in the air. Konan, who was hiding in the nearby forest, looked at this exaggerated scene in the sky and said, "It doesn't have to be so big, right?" Nagato panted and responded intermittently, "The opponent is the nine tails, so we can't be careless. Moreover, compared with the moon created by the legendary six-path sage, this is simply not worth mentioning." Chapter 444. In short, the capture of the nine tails is now complete. Nagato hung his head with a depressed look on his face, but he managed to gather his strength and control Tendo to come under the stone ball made by Chibaku Tensei. At this time, inside the stone ball, Naruto's mind was completely immersed in his own consciousness space. The scene of Tendo asking him about peace and hatred kept replaying in his memory, which made Naruto, who could not give an answer, hug his head helplessly in pain, and the whole person huddled up timidly. Why? Why did it become like this? I don't know what happened. It's so painful. No. I don't understand. What should I do? I don't know anything anymore. Someone come save me. Tell me the answer. How is it related to the six-path sage again? There is indeed such a legend, but was the moon really created by the six-path sage using this Chibaku Tensei? I thought that Nagato was close to the power of the six-path sage's legend, but now it seems that he is still far away. Well, I am more curious about the purpose of the sixth sage creating the moon. Referring to what Tendao is doing now, is it to trap something in it? What kind of thing would it be that the sixth sage needs to suppress it with the size of the moon? At present, Nagato's stone ball has suppressed the power of the nine tails. Even if it is the complete nine tails, it would be enough to increase it several times, but it is still far from the moon. Well, this kind of brain-opening speculation ends here. Well, it's getting more and more outrageous. If there is something that is more powerful than the nine tails, even if it's just a legend, there should be some records of it. Nagato must have tried his best, his face is so pale. Who knows, maybe it's just like the real power of Uchiha mentioned by Itachi. When you think he has reached the end, a new one suddenly appears to surprise others. Tisk, this is the first time I see Naruto so collapsed, and it's when he's best at it. In the verbal confrontation. Did Naruto say that he is not good at speaking? Laughing with squinting eyes, SHH. Whoever believes this is an idiot. How can Naruto turn the tables in this situation? Even if he defeats Tendo with the power of the nine tails, Naruto's consciousness is almost gone. What's worse is that in his current state, people from the outside world can't let the sound in. Is it a bit too much to rely on Naruto to figure it out by himself? Jiraiya looked at the sky with a heavy face. Two disciples, one was willing to sacrifice his life to realize the plan that was not tolerated by the ninja world, and the other fell into despair because of the huge contrast between the dream he entrusted and the reality. And he, as a master, could not help them at all. He could neither stop the plan to destroy the ninja world nor give a peaceful answer. He could only pretend to be cool and leave everything to his disciples to realize. I originally thought that the only bright spot on the failed life of the hero, Jiraiya, was that he entrusted the future of the ninja world to the right person. Now it seems that I haven't done enough. At some point, the door representing the seal of the nine tails appeared in front of Naruto, and a malicious voice came from inside the door, pointing out a way forward for Naruto. Destroy everything, destroy all the things that make you suffer, and give me your heart. In this way, I can save you from suffering. Under the nine tails' bewitching voice, Naruto's eyes gradually became dull, and his clothes were torn apart, revealing the seal on his abdomen, and then the seal turned into a pool of ink and quickly dissipated. So in this mental state, Naruto's degree of tailed beast transformation was further deepened, and the 8 huge tails broke through the seal of the Chibaku Tensei. The 9 tails, which had been almost completely released except for the fur, also stretched out its upper body and roared towards the heavenly path below. Under this situation, it's too late to recast the sealing technique. The 9 tails in its full form is about to come out. I don't see any chance for Naruto to turn the tables. In fact, there is another possibility, that is, Nagato will suppress the 9 tails' power back into Naruto's body. After all, he wants the power of the tailed beasts, and it is impossible for him to really kill Naruto. If this is the case, Naruto has no position to refute Nagato. He can't give an answer himself. Now even the power of catharsis has to be suppressed by the other party. How can Naruto say that he can do better than Nagato? Naruto's eyes were dyed red by the power of the 9 tails, and he took a step under the guidance of the 9 tails, approached the door at a slow pace. Just as Naruto was about to remove the seal on the door, a hand suddenly stretched out from his side and grabbed Naruto's arm to stop him, and then Naruto, who had regained consciousness in an instant, was taken away from the door by a figure. Looking at the familiar words on the back of the divine robe worn by this person, the 9 tails inside the door couldn't help but exclaimed, "You are." And Naruto, after seeing the face of the person in front of him clearly, opened his mouth and murmured his identity, the 4th Hokage. Naruto. Hey. What's going on? Why is the 4th Hokage here? Sure enough, Konoha is brewing some conspiracy, right? The 4th Hokage is faking his death and hiding in the dark, right? Please. Look at where this is, Naruto's consciousness space. The 4th Hokage must not be in a normal way. A human figure appeared here. I originally wanted to say that this was the soul of the 4th Hokage or something, but suddenly I remembered that his soul seemed to be sealed in the body of the god of death, so this must be something else. In this case, it should be chakra. It was the chakra injected by the 4th Hokage when he sealed the 9 tails. This is a high-level skill in the application of chakra. So the 4th Hokage had long anticipated this day. This is Naruto's chance to turn the tables next. Naruto opened his mouth slightly in a daze, lowered his head with a stiff neck and looked at his abdomen, slowly raised his hand and pressed it. The 4th Hokage's Chakra? Exclamation mark. Is it in the seal? Dot. It should be said under some conditions, such as the Nine Tails power will emerge when it is released to a certain extent. Jiraiya looked at Naruto with complicated eyes. Minato took everything into consideration and added such an insurance for you before he died. Chapter 445. Inside the belly of the god of death, Minato looked at his own appearance in the sky and sighed softly. It's just right to appear in such an occasion. Minato called out Naruto's name softly, then immediately restrained his emotions and explained the current situation. When I sealed it, I had already set it up. Once the eighth tail is released, I will appear in your consciousness. Although I hope this result will not happen, because I don't want to see you again, Nine Tails, but I am a little looking forward to seeing my grown-up son, so let's call it a draw. Oh. Fourth Hokage. Come here. I'm going to cut you into pieces. Nine Tails, who reacted at this time, roared at Minato angrily. Minato chuckled and said to Naruto in front of him, since you said you would cut me into pieces, I can't get close to you, right, Naruto? Should I say that you are worthy of being the fourth Hokage, and you even left such a guarantee? He's been dead for more than a decade, but he still has a backup plan to deal with the tailed beasts. His sealing skills are a bit too high. After all, his wife is from the Uzumaki clan, so it's understandable that she's stronger in sealing skills. It feels like the Nine Tails is about to be pissed off. It took Naruto a while to fool him, but he was ruined by the fourth Hokage. Naruto, my name, why does the fourth Hokage know my name? Naruto suddenly felt very strange. Minato explained gently, well, because I gave you your name. You are my son. Son? Then, Naruto realized what the other party said at this time. Minato smiled and confirmed, well, I said it just now, you are my son. Naruto was stunned at first, then his body trembled slightly, and a half smile appeared on his face, and tears could not stop flowing from the corners of his eyes. But soon he burst into laughter, but the Nine Tails roared inappropriately behind them, affecting the recognition of the two. Seeing this, Minato pointed behind him and said, the guy behind is too noisy. Let's go to another place. Naruto doesn't know the relationship between the fourth Hokage and him at this time. It feels quite subtle. They obviously met each other 20 years ago. Hey, Naruto's reaction is a bit flat. I thought he would be more excited. It's because the news is too shocking, so he didn't react for a while. After all, he was immersed in despair just now. As a result, the fourth Hokage suddenly jumped out and said that he was his father. Anyone would be confused. As he said, Minato snapped his fingers lightly, and then Naruto found that the two of them had come to pure white space. Naruto wiped his tears and laughed softly. Minato looked at his movements and explained, it seems that the Sand Dame didn't tell you anything. He wanted to hide the information about the Nine Tails as much as possible. If others knew that you were my son, many dangers would befall you. Dad? Naruto stopped and shouted softly, then punched Minato in the stomach without warning. Why did you seal the Nine Tails in your son? Thanks to you, I suffered a lot. Naruto roared at Minato, and the tears that he had wiped away could not stop flowing out again. Well, are you sure this is Naruto's consciousness space? How come the fourth Hokage can control it more easily than Naruto? Tisk tisk tisk, if this happened to someone else, I would doubt whether the fourth Hokage's chakra could take over someone else's body. He hid his identity as the Hokage's son, but made the Nine Tails Jinchuriki's identity known to everyone. Are you sure this is for Naruto's good? No matter how you look at it, the Jinchuriki's identity will attract more attention. After all, the fourth Hokage himself does not have any special powers. Are you also learning from Raza to test Naruto's psychological endurance? No, judging from the level of sealing techniques mastered by Konoha, the possibility of the tailed beast going berserk is very small, and there is no need to conduct such a boring test. I don't understand what the top leaders of Konoha are thinking. In the Hokage's office, Tsunade was processing documents while looking at the sky and couldn't help but snorted. In the previous treatment of Root, some clues can be analyzed that the disclosure of Naruto's identity as a Jinchuriki is basically related to Danzo. Combined with his usual style, it is not difficult to associate. Danzo wanted to use this method to force the third Hokage to send Naruto to his Root for training, so as to control the nine-tailed beast weapon. Although the third Hokage also took remedial measures and forced the villagers not to mention the nine-tailed beast in front of Naruto, the matter had already spread after all, and the identity of the Hokage's son could not be exposed. which led to Naruto's miserable childhood. Thinking of this, Tsunade complained more about the third Hokage. Why did she always let the old man Danzo make trouble? This should not be the way to think about the old relationship. The result is that now the mess created by the old guy has to be dealt with by her. When she thought of this, Tsunade was furious at the third Hokage, who was sleeping in the hospital, and Danzo, who was detained in the cell. Damn it. We should cure the old man Sandai as soon as possible, and then return this broken place to him. Whoever wants to be the Hokage can be the Hokage. I said Naruto's emotions were too calm, but it turns out that he has been holding it back until now. You can see that he is very resentful, and unlike before, he looked aggrieved when he talked about the past. Scold, shout, it's normal to be angry and resentful, so that it seems more real, otherwise I will doubt whether Naruto is a human being. The adults all look coldly at me, and it's hard for me to make friends, so I have been working hard, hoping that everyone can agree with me, and I worked hard to become stronger. Then I met Iruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, and the lecherous sage. I was very happy to be able to become stronger, but because of this, I was targeted by the guys from Akatsuki, so I had to practice twice as much. Obviously, I finally became stronger, but my companions were killed by Akatsuki, but whether I am happy or angry, I can't tell. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446. Minato looked at Naruto with an apologetic look, choking and sobbing, and asked softly, Naruto, how old are you? Woo. 16 years old. His body twitched slightly. Naruto did not hide his grievances. Perhaps this was the first time he released his emotions so thoroughly. Angry and excited, he started to talk nonsense. He is only 16 years old. It is really a bit difficult to ask him to make a choice at this age. Who made him the destined child of prophecy? While gaining stronger power, he is destined to bear heavier responsibilities, isn't it? Although it is very sorry to say this to Naruto, if there were no such hardships, would he still be the hero who saved Konoha now? It is true that he is a hero, but it is also true that he is young. Otherwise, Naruto would not have suffered a mental breakdown due to pain. The guide is a very important role. Even the strongest people need such a person to guide them. So now it is the turn of the fourth Hokage to play this role. This is the first time I have seen Naruto speak incoherently like this. Sakura looked at Naruto on the sky screen with pity. He was the son of the Hokage, but he had such a miserable childhood because of his status as a Jinchuriki. Sakura couldn't imagine how Naruto managed to survive this contrast. Naruto's expression was a little embarrassed. His cowardly look on the sky screen made him feel that everyone around him seemed to be secretly looking at him, and he felt very awkward. However, Naruto did not cover his eyes to cover his ears and steal the bell. Instead, he pursed his lips and looked at Minato, who was talking to him in the sky screen seriously. Unlike the time in Lowland, this was the first time the two of them talked as father and son. For this reason, Naruto would not miss any details. In the Pure Land, Kushina once again looked at the two people talking on the sky with envy. Although her chakra was also sealed in Naruto's body by Minato, according to Minato's idea, it should not emerge until Naruto practices controlling the power of the Nine Tails, but she also wanted to see the scene of her and Naruto recognizing each other, which must be a very touching scene. Really, you are already 16 years old. It seems that you have experienced a lot of painful things. Naruto, I'm sorry, I let my son suffer so much. I really don't deserve to apologize to you as a father. Minato lowered his head slightly and said with a wry smile. At this time, Naruto wiped his tears, pretended to be strong, and said awkwardly, it doesn't matter anymore. I am the son of the fourth Hokage. I can bear it. Hearing this, Minato smiled slightly. The reason why I sealed half of the Nine Tails chakra in you is because I believe you can master this power. If it were my son. Speaking of this, Minato's expression became serious, and he took the initiative to mention the black hand behind the Nine Tails attack on the village 16 years ago, and said that he would probably attack Konoha again. What should I say? This emotion is vented too quickly. It's so sensible that it makes people feel distressed. Because he is the son of the Hokage, all the pain can be endured. He can convince himself to accept this idea all of a sudden. It's really not a fluke that he can become the son of prophecy. I believe in something again. I can understand the feelings of a father who believes in his son, but he can't seal the 9 tails in his son just because of this. It's a complete gamble. Didn't I say before that perhaps there was no one in Konoha who was more suitable to be a Jinchuriki than Naruto at that time? After all, he still had half of the Uzumaki bloodline in him. It can only be said that it was a coincidence. In the end, it proved that the 4th Hokage's adventure was correct, right? Hearing what Minato said, Naruto looked at the ground with a sad face. Now Konoha has been completely destroyed. I saw it, from your body. I also know about Jiraiya-sensei. Naruto was stunned at first, and then hurriedly asked if it was Pain who controlled the 9 tails to attack the village 16 years ago. Minato denied this speculation, saying that the real attacker was a masked man who wore a mask to hide his identity, and he also believed that Pain was also a pawn used by him. No. Pain hated Konoha, and his village was destroyed in the same way before. Naruto immediately refuted, but Minato said that this was why he was used by others. What's the situation with the 4th Hokage? Since he can see the outside world, why did he act like he knew nothing just now and even asked Naruto how old he was? Maybe it's not the time it can be seen at any time. Otherwise, seeing how miserable Naruto's childhood was, the 4th Hokage must be guilty to death. Too naive? Since he decided to let his son become a Jinchuriki, how could the 4th Hokage not be mentally prepared? Even if it happened again, he would probably make the same choice. Forget it, it's boring to discuss such unhappy things. Now let's talk about Ifehi, who is confirmed to have controlled the 9 tails to attack Konoha. As expected, all the previous signs have shown this, only Ifehi himself does not admit it. Controlling the 9 tails, it is said that only Uchiha Madara has this ability. Who is this Ifehi? The 4th Hokage has been emphasizing that Nagato was used by Ifehi. I don't know if Nagato is aware of this. After all, they both regard themselves as the leaders of Akatsuki. From this point, it can be seen that they are not of the same mind, and each has their own purpose. Using pawns is just a temporary cooperation in capturing the tailed beasts, and now even this cooperative relationship has to be discounted, Nagato said coldly. Nagato disagrees that the actions he took for his ideals were carried out under the influence and manipulation of others. Even if the peace plan he came up with had major omissions, it was also his own refinement through past experiences. It was not the turn of others to intervene. Naruto was a little bit unbelievable about this. Pain's strength left a very deep impression on him. Naruto really didn't believe that anyone could use Pain as a pawn. And if this guess is true, then why would someone who can even use Pain keep targeting Konoha? As long as the ninja system still exists in this world, there may not be a peaceful order. Facing Naruto's question, Minato replied indifferently, Pain asked you about peace before, and it's really hard to find the answer. Chapter 447. War is started to save important people. As long as love exists, hatred will arise, and ninjas will be used by this hatred. As long as the ninja system exists, the monster called hatred will give birth to new Pain. It sounds like the 4th Hokage is supporting Nagato. After all, he grew up in the war years. There are very few people like Jiraiya who still hold on to naive ideals. Jiraiya is probably because of the prophecy. Although he doesn't know the answer, the prophecy mentions the existence of peace, so it's normal to have such an ideal. The important thing is the process of realizing the ideal. Isn't Naruto and Nagato arguing about this now? It's just that they can't predict whether their plan will succeed before they reach the end. Really, can't the prophecy be more accurate? Perhaps this unknown is the condition for realizing the prophecy. After all, if you know everything that will happen in the future, then this future will most likely not happen, and no one will act completely according to the prophecy. Although it was Pain who killed Jiraiya, if you think about it carefully, it was actually the disordered ninja world that gave birth to Pain who killed the teacher. Speaking of this, Minato's emotions were a bit complicated. As a ninja, you have to fight against this hatred. How to end hatred? Jiraiya teacher entrusted you with the task of finding the answer. Even so, I will never forgive Pain. I can't forgive him. Naruto said his thoughts without thinking, and then looked at Minato with a painful face and asked, 4th Hokage, please tell me, what should I do? The answer depends on you to find it, because I don't know the answer either. Minato responded with a serious expression. Naruto knows his own thoughts very well. He cannot forgive Nagato for killing Jiraiya. But if he does not forgive him, then inheriting Jiraiya's ideals is pure nonsense. It is because of the contradiction that he is in pain and confusion. If there is no dream entrusted to him by Jiraiya, all Naruto wants is to become Hokage and gain the recognition of the villagers, and at most a few friends from other villages. One by one, they throw the problem to Naruto to solve, without asking him if he is willing. Isn't this the responsibility of a disciple? Otherwise, why would you accept a disciple? Unexpectedly, Naruto exploded as soon as he heard it. How can I know something that even the lecherous sage and the 4th generation Hokage don't understand? You are all too willful. I am not smart. I am not a great ninja, and if it's you, you will definitely find the answer. Minato stretched out his hand and pressed Naruto's head to interrupt him, saying firmly, I believe you. Really? Can I really find it? Naruto lowered his head and asked in a whisper. Minato smiled brightly, because parents always believe in their children. Okay, I should go too. My chakra is getting weaker and weaker. I will reorganize the seal, but this is the last time. Minato stretched out his hand and turned it on Naruto's abdomen. The seal that was originally in pieces suddenly returned to its original state. Minato's figure gradually disappeared. The last exhortation echoed in Naruto's ears, Konoha can still be rebuilt. I'll leave it to you, Naruto. Instantly, the confusion in Naruto's eyes disappeared, and he no longer looked desperate. Thank you. Dad. Well, I agree that Naruto claims to be a bad brain, but he said he is not a great ninja. Tisk, being too modest is hypocritical. What does he define as a great ninja? The 4th Hokage's answer, let me translate it. It means that although I don't know the answer, although I think the enemy is right, I just believe you. That's the feeling, forget it, they are father and son, so just believe blindly. Naruto is really easy to coax. As long as you say believe him, he will accept it as a matter of course. Easy to coax is one thing, but the key is that his psychological adjustment ability is also incredible. Obviously, the 4th Hokage didn't give any valuable response, and he didn't think of an answer himself, but he was no longer confused all of a sudden. Nagato took great pains to break Naruto's emotions, but the result was not as good as the 4th Hokage's light voice of believe. It's inexplicable. Is this the ability of the child of prophecy? Anyway, this is indeed a reversal. Next now it depends on how Naruto convinces Nagato. The other party will not be convinced by such an inexplicable reason like Naruto. How cunning, how can I refuse when he says such a thing? Naruto frowned and muttered. Although he felt very irritated, Naruto was inevitably a little excited to hear his father's approval in person. If he were in that situation, he would probably accept the other party's expectations without thinking. At the same time, in the Hidden Rain village, Nagato frowned and looked at Naruto, who suddenly cheered up on the sky. His inner irritation was no less than Naruto. Why did he recover? What did he think of? What answer can he give? Even the 4th Hokage supports my idea. What reason does he have to hold on to Jiraiya's naive ideals? What, can it be reinforced? I thought the 4th Hokage's chakra was only used to prevent the Nine Tails from breaking the seal. How? The Nine Tails spent more than 10 years to weaken the seal, but now it's back to square one. The conversation between the father and son lasted for a while, but to the outside world, it was only a short moment, because Tendo was only now preparing to impose a stronger suppression on the Nine Tails that escaped from Chibaku Tensei. But just as he was about to take action, the Nine Tails, which was roaring and struggling, suddenly disappeared, and was replaced by Naruto, who was attached to the stone ball and restored to the sage mode again. Looking up and looking directly into Naruto's eyes, Tendo had a hint of doubt in his eyes. The confusion is gone. What happened? Can he control the Nine Tails? At this time, Nagato, who was hiding in the dark, could no longer maintain the effect of Chibaku Tensei. He coughed up blood and released the ninjutsu, and Naruto returned to the ground along the collapsed stone ball. Chapter 448. Tirandeo wants to increase the size of the stone ball. It seems that Nagato still has some strength left. Let's give it another try. You're willing to use a life-consuming move. Why should you worry about anything else? Maybe, but it seems that Nagato has almost reached his limit. He beat Konoha into the state with his own strength. It's no exaggeration to say that this record is unprecedented. The slug hiding in Naruto's clothes struggled to crawl out of his collar and said with lingering fear, "Oh, I thought I was dead." Naruto looked at it with an apologetic look on his face, but before he could say anything to comfort it, he found that he was far away from Konoha village. With the slug's reminder, Naruto remembered what happened before, and also remembered Hinata, who was in danger of life and death in order to save him. Just when Naruto was worried that everyone in the village would be killed by him after he turned into a tailed beast, through the perception of the Sage Mode, Naruto found that although Hinata's chakra was weak, she still had a glimmer of life. He was relieved immediately, closed his eyes with a look of relief, and murmured with tears, "Really? That's great. It's really great." Naruto was unconscious after the rampage. If it weren't for the backup left by the fourth Hokage, it might really be irreversible. After all, there was basically no one in Konoha who could control Naruto after he turned into a tailed beast, not to mention that he was under the eyes of the enemy. Hey, Hinata is not dead yet. It seems that God has spared her. He really is deliberately provoking Naruto, just to prove that his idea is correct. Naruto quickly wiped away his tears. Shyandao looked at his eyes that had regained their spirit, and said lightly, "It's time to make a break. Do you understand the pain a little? If you don't know the same pain, you can't really understand others, and even if you can understand, you can't sympathize with each other. This is the truth." Shyandao said firmly, "Just like it's a waste of effort for you to chase Sasuke." After a moment of silence, Naruto frowned and said seriously, "Take me to your original body. I have something to say to him directly." Wow, did you notice the original body? Teacher Jiraiya or you guys, the people of Konoha are quite capable. Shyandao said while holding a black stick, "But, what I want to say has been said. At this point, no matter what you say, nothing will change." "No, what's wrong with you guys? Naruto's companions are fine, but why are even you enemies paying attention to him chasing Sasuke? Tisk tisk, it feels like everyone knows it." Naruto never tried to hide it, and even swaggered down to his knees in front of the wreckage to beg for mercy, as if he was afraid that others didn't know. It's mainly because Sasuke was also famous in the ninja world at that time, not to mention that he was involved with Akatsuki later, so it's not surprising that Nagato knew about him. Do you want to face the real body directly? Naruto, do you have an answer? I think so. Otherwise, even if I meet Nagato, I'll just be scolded by him. Anyway, let me say a few words first. Naruto wanted to try harder, but the way of heaven, but he was not ready to continue talking, and walked slowly towards Naruto. Sage Mode. It seems that the tricky chakra shuriken can only be used twice at most, and then the Sage Mode will disappear. If both shurikens miss, you lose. I won't leave you any more chances. As long as you miss, just wait for me to beat you half to death and take you away. Shyandao's pace is getting faster and faster. Seeing that he has no intention of giving up, Naruto put on a fighting stance. There's no way. It seems that I can only find the real body myself. Shyandao suddenly became very impatient. After all, the big truth has been said, and Naruto has been said without any rebuttal. In this case, there is no need to talk. Anyway, Naruto will not surrender. I am not interested in which of the two opinions is better or worse. The only thing I learned is that strength is the foundation of everything. With a greatly enhanced perception ability of the Sage Mode, Naruto grabbed a black stick that the opponent stabbed at the moment of Shyandao, kicked it away with a foot when he passed by, and then stabbed the broken black stick into his shoulder. Through the connection of the black stick, he found the real body of Nagato hidden in a big tree on the hill not far away. After searching for the enemy, Naruto threw away the black stick in his hand, quickly transformed two shadow clones and rolled out the spiral shuriken, and then threw a smoke bomb again to cover. He stopped his body. Another smoke bomb. The same trick won't work. Shyandao thought so, and then he saw the spiral shuriken break through the smoke and attack. Oh, the black stick is connected to Nagato. Is it some kind of transmission medium? The black decorations on Pine's body. I see. This is how he controls the puppet. With his control distance and flexibility, it's a good thing there's only one pair of Samsara eyes. If there were more, all puppeteers would have to retire. I feel like Naruto has fallen into the opponent's language trap. Why is it the Rasen Shuriken again? Why is he so obsessed with using this trick to deal with the enemy? Don't think that Naruto used other moves to beat other peons easily before, but the situation when fighting with Tendo is different. At close range, you have to be on guard against the opponent's Shinra Tensei at all times, not to mention at long distance. In this case, there's nothing wrong with pursuing a one-hit kill tactic. Shinra Tensei is released, and the first Rasen Shuriken is easily defeated by Tendo, but before he can counterattack, the second Rasen Shuriken appears from the shadow of the first one. What? It's a shadow shuriken. The interval is 5 seconds, it will definitely hit. The unreserved tactics exhausted all of Naruto's Sage Chakra, and the Sage mask on his face quickly dissipated. At the same time, for safety reasons, Naruto also arranged 2 shadow clones that turned into stones to show their original forms beside Tendao, intending to restrict his movement so that the spiral shuriken could hide him. However, without the blessing of the Sage mode, Naruto did not have an advantage over Tendao in physical skills. He quickly condensed 2 black sticks and stabbed the 2 shadow clones, and then jumped lightly to avoid Naruto's last fatal spiral shuriken. Chapter 449. It's a complete replica of the battle with Zabuza, even the opponent's response is exactly the same. Why didn't you use the transformation technique to disguise yourself as a spiral shuriken this time? It can catch Tendo off guard. It's already been used once, how could Tendo not be prepared? Do you really think the Samsara is just a decoration? At this point in the battle, little tricks are basically useless. Who wins and who loses depends on their own abilities. At this time, there are still 3 seconds before the next Shinra Tensei is launched, and Naruto has exhausted his Senjutsu chakra, and is keeping a certain distance from Tendo. Just when Tendo thought he had won, a large amount of smoke suddenly exploded around him. In his surprised expression, the rubble that was originally scattered on the ground showed its original form, and Naruto's large number of shadow clones rushed towards Tendo. I turned so many shadow clones into rubble. Tendao was about to be hit by the fist of the shadow clone, but unfortunately, the cooling time of Shinra Tensei was over at this time. Tendao raised his hands and bounced all the shadow clones away in an instant. Oh. Here it comes. Naruto's human wave tactics. Is this the final move to decide the outcome? Oh. What a pity, it was just a little bit short. When Naruto's shadow clone showed its true form, I thought the situation was reversed, but now it seems to be the same as before. No way, after fighting for so long, Naruto still has so much chakra to use for shadow clones. The interval between Shinra Tensei is really too short. Naruto's human wave tactics can't work. The attack failed, but Naruto had no intention of giving up. While his body was pushed back by the shock wave, he once again created a large number of shadow clones to act as a buffer behind him. Seeing his perseverance, Tendao gritted his teeth and increased his strength, shouting, "You don't even know the answer, give up." However, Naruto, who had made up his mind, would not be persuaded by such words. The faces of Jiraiya, the 4th Hokage and Kakashi appeared in Naruto's mind. They all entrusted their trust without reservation, and Naruto would not let them down no matter what. In this way, relying on human power, Naruto took Tendao's attack. If you can't attack, you can only rely on human power to resist the attack. Naruto really plays the shadow clone well. You can't rely on exhausting the opponent's power to win. Can you really do whatever you want with enough chakra? Exhaust Nagato's chakra. It seems that Nagato is also from the Uzumaki clan. His chakra may not be less than Naruto's. But Nagato released several powerful ninjutsu in succession, while Naruto still has the chakra of the 9 tails to support him. If they really want to fight, Nagato will definitely not be able to beat him. You can actually withstand it. Tendo half knelt on the ground, watching Naruto use the Rasengan, gritted his teeth and analyzed secretly, that jutsu cannot be thrown. 5 seconds, this distance is still in time. Who would have thought that Naruto would actually let 2 shadow clones throw him directly over? Just give up, the idea of letting me give up. It was a completely unexpected development. Before Tendao could react, Naruto's Rasengan hit him hard in the abdomen, and Tendao was knocked out and crashed into the rubble. Naruto also fell to the ground in embarrassment, but in order to prevent Tendao from recovering, he came to Tendao's side as soon as possible and pulled out a black ornament inserted in his body to connect to Nagato's chakra. Nagato would never have thought that Tendo would lose in this way. It doesn't matter if you can't use the ninjutsu, just throw the person out. In the end, the victory was due to the Rasengan. If Naruto had planned with this trick from the beginning, he might have been much more relaxed than he is now. Did you not watch the previous battles? In Sage mode, Naruto can't use multiple shadow clones. Without enough shadow clones to cooperate, it's hopeless to rely on Rasengan to get close. Sure enough, the shadow clone plus the Rasengan is the most suitable tactic for Naruto. Even such a powerful enemy fell at his feet. Don't make it sound like it's all Naruto's credit. Did the others contribute? Okay, whose credit it is has nothing to do with us. It depends on how Naruto will deal with Nagato next. Looking at Tendo's peaceful face after closing his eyes, Naruto recalled with a complicated expression that he had the words he said to himself when he was restrained. Pain, understanding, consideration, peace. Thinking of this, Naruto gritted his teeth, endured the pain and stabbed the black ornament in his hand into his palm. In this pain, he remembered those companions who died because of Pine's rampage, and his expression became more and more ugly. Do you want to go? We can arrange reinforcements for you this time, asked the slug lying on Naruto's shoulder, and Naruto immediately rejected its proposal. No. No. I'll go alone. Insisting on going to see Nagato alone. Does Naruto really have an answer? Your expression is so ugly. No matter how you think about it, Naruto has no reason to forgive Pine. He is still brooding over the sacrifice of his companions. He is not thinking of taking it one step at a time. This is indeed in line with the impression Naruto gives people, but it is not appropriate here, right? Without a clear answer, Nagato is unlikely to give up his idea, not to mention that Naruto still wants to face it alone. If the advantage is not obvious, Nagato may directly capture him. Naruto calmed down and immediately set off towards Nagato's body. When passing through a forest, he met Naruto and his group who were looking for Pine's body. Naruto said straight away that he wanted to talk to Pine alone and hoped that they would not follow him. Upon hearing this, Yamanaka Heiai immediately objected. What nonsense are you talking about? We are very grateful that you defeated Pine, but at this point, it is no longer a problem that can be solved by talking. So what? Can all problems be solved by eradicating Pine's body, his subordinates, and the hostile village? Naruto's face showed anger. It really depends on Naruto alone to turn the tide. Your search team also brought a Hyuga ninja, but in the end, it was Naruto who was fighting on the front line who first found the enemy's position. Chapter 450. It's great that we found the area so quickly. After all, the area was just cleared by the Shinra Tensei of the Heavenly Path, and most people are still waiting for rescue in the ruins. Naruto's answer is a bit self-evident. His problem is only between him and Jiraiya, but for other Konoha ninjas, most of the problems are solved when the enemy is solved. Who would care about what the enemy on the battlefield has encountered in the past? I suddenly realized why Naruto spoke up for Wu Wei and Wook in the Ghost Lantern City. It's because of this. It's a one-time experience. When the original goal was to become Hokage, you only needed to consider your companions, but when Naruto's goal became peace in the ninja world, even the enemies had to be taken into consideration, right? As the child of prophecy, this behavior is indeed remarkable, but is this still a normal person? As long as you are a human, you will have your own likes and dislikes. Don't you feel tired if you consider others in everything? Nagato's face was a little tense. He didn't understand what Naruto was thinking. Why should he consider him? What qualifications does he have to be treated like this? And what qualifications does Naruto have to treat him like this? They are enemies. Just fight and decide the winner, everything else is meaningless. What's the point of talking? He is an enemy of Konoha. His crime is unforgivable. Yamanaka Inochi refused to give in. Naruto immediately said, "Me too. I think so too. We must not let go of the guy who hurt Master, the village, and everyone like this." So, Yamanaka Inochi wanted to continue persuading, but Naruto suddenly stopped him with his hand. "Inochi, just do as Naruto said and let him go alone." "Shikaku, you." Yamanaka Inochi couldn't believe it. Naruto explained, "It was Naruto who stopped Pine. He is qualified to talk to Pine, and he has his own ideas." Although Yamanaka Inochi didn't understand this decision, with Naruto's insistence, Naruto still got the opportunity to talk to Nagato alone. Naruto's words are incoherent. He doesn't want to forgive, but he thinks killing the enemy won't solve the problem. Could it be that he wants Nagato to admit his mistakes and make up for the damage done to Konoha in other ways? Let's see how his conversation with Nagato goes. Let's see how his piece can convince Nagato, himself and other people in Konoha. It's not known what Naruto's philosophy is, but his strength has definitely been recognized by everyone. Even Naruto, the captain of the Jonin class, has to consider this. Naruto is now the hero who saved Konoha. Everyone in Konoha should give him some face. Watching him leave, Naruto recalled a conversation he had with Shikamaru before. "Ask me where I went. I went to preach to Naruto and told him not to be depressed. It was troublesome, but his feet moved by themselves. That guy has something that no one else has. One day, he will definitely become a very important ninja in the village. When you are with him, you will unconsciously want to go on with him. The son who never praised anyone said this, and Narashikaku, who is always calm, began to have expectations for Naruto. Anyway, leave it to Naruto. Oh, so there's Shikamaru involved. Ah. That's so corny. What's wrong with you people in Konoha? You say such things as you please. Tisk, Naruto, this guy, really doesn't care about men or women, and it seems that there are more boys who are entangled with him than girls. Sasuke, Gaara, Timothy, and now Shikamaru, and Neji has some clues. Naruto just wants to be recognized by everyone. Why do you have to associate something with it? Of course, I admit that what they say does sound a bit ambiguous and can be easily misunderstood, but maybe this is the tradition of Konoha? Don't assume that Naruto has any bad habits. Laughing with squinting eyes. Ha ha ha, I haven't seen anyone make such a joke for a long time. Recently, the stories of Shinmu are getting heavier and heavier. It's good to have more such remarks to relax. Shikamaru, when did he become so cheesy? It's really embarrassing to listen to him. In the convoy heading to the snow country, Naruto scratched his head a little shyly. A familiar partner's frank approval made him temporarily forget the thorny question raised by Pine. And unlike Naruto, who lacks some common sense, Shikamaru, who is currently receiving Narashikaku's secret technique training at home, covered his forehead with a look of dismay after seeing his easily misunderstood speech on the sky screen. Damn Dad, what are you thinking about? Your son is too embarrassed to go out and see people now. Don't blame others casually. It's obviously what you said. Narashikaku felt a little amused, and then said earnestly, Son, although your father I don't intend to interfere with your emotional life, but it's better to find a woman. For men, the Nara family may not be easily accepted. What are you talking about? I'm not interested in men. Why do you involve me in such troublesome things? Shikamaru shouted with a face of collapse, and then when he saw the teasing expression on Narashikaku's face, he realized that he was teased. He immediately put all his energy into the control of the shadow in shame and anger, ready to teach this old and disrespectful guy a lesson. I feel like Naruto has become a tool to be entrusted. Why do people want to entrust things to him? This is the role of the strong. The stronger the strength, the more expectations you have to accept. Naruto is eager to be treated like this. Coming to the big tree where Nagato hides his true self, Naruto stood still for a moment to enter the sage mode, then tore off the disguise made of paper by Conan and came to the two of them. Helping is shamelessly here. Nagato stopped Conan, who was ready to take action at any time, and sarcastically said to Naruto, who was approaching. Naruto looked at his skinny body with black sticks stuck in his back, frowned and asked, Are you Pine's true self? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.